Chapter 636. 636 Chapter 636 Well-equipped Qin Yun saw that the old chivalrous warriors have fallen and sighed in his heart. Sure enough, there is a gap in equipment. They also said before that those people are well-equipped and they will be at a disadvantage. But they still made a move, they should want to fight. Ling Yuner said, "Xiao Yun, let's do it." And, as Qin Yun spoke, he hurriedly cast the heavenly lion summoning technique. Roar, roar, roar. Suddenly there was a burst of lion roar in the forest. Qin Yun summoned 2 nether realm heavenly lions. After Qin Yun stepped into the spirit martial realm, the nether realm heavenly lions he summoned are also very strong, comparable to the middle and late stage spirit martial realm. Furthermore, Qin Yun has heavenly lion beast soul, so when he summons the nether realm heavenly lions and uses heavenly lion totem martial arts, the power will be greatly enhanced. The sudden appearance of the nether realm heavenly lions also shocked Long Yongliang and his group. What kind of beast is that? Black lion? It looks very strong. Hurry up and catch these 2 lions, they are very good mounts. After Long Yongliang saw it, he shouted in surprise. The Xian martial realm martial monarch beside him quickly flew out. Long Yongliang, there are only 2 lions, how about we catch them with our own ability? A young man in red robes said with a faint smile. Then, he flew out. The other young masters also hurriedly flew out. This kind of powerful lion is comparable to the middle and late stage spirit martial realm. If it is successfully subdued, it will be very awe-inspiring as a mount or hunting beast. The nether realm heavenly lion summoned by Qin Yun is 5 or 6 meters long and it is not very big, so it is more suitable to be used as a mount. When entering the city, it will also be awe-inspiring. Long Yongliang shouted coldly, "If we rely on our own ability, then these 2 lions are mine. Although they are very strange why there are 2 black lions, they don't care that much. In their opinion, the 2 lions are no different from the slaves who delivered themselves to the door, they are just a bit stronger. All of you attack." Long Yongliang shouted and all his people flew into the forest. "These slaves, what should we do?" someone asked. "This group of trash slaves can't even compare to a lion leg." Long Yongliang also flew over and besieged the nether realm heavenly lion. The nether realm heavenly lion's fighting strength is very strong, its body is strong and its totem martial arts is fierce and terrible. Qin Yun did not let the heavenly lion fight with that group of people, instead he tried to stall for time and run away. Those dozens of people have all gone to catch the nether realm heavenly lion, leaving only a few people here to guard. Qin Yun released 5 throwing knives and killed those people in a few moments. Then, Qin Yun controlled the throwing knives to destroy the golden net, allowing the old swordsman to come out. After Qin Yun appeared, he said, "Seniors, take these slaves and leave. I will block them here." At that moment, Long Yongliang and the others also realized that old swordsman and the others had been saved. The group of old chivalrous warriors are all incomparably astonished. They had thought that Qin Yun's strength was not very strong. But now, he controlled the throwing knife to kill a few spirit martial realm cultivators in an instant and even save them. "Young man, can you do it?" an old man asked worriedly. "We'll leave 30 people here to defend." "No, all of you leave." Qin Yun immediately took out the Xian royal cannon and fired it at Long Yongliang and company. Boom! More than a dozen people came back, but they were all killed by Qin Yun's cannon. The forest in front of them instantly turned into a sea of fire. Qin Yun's cannonball is refined from a large amount of beast oil. After it explodes, it can produce a fierce flame. "Go back quickly and kill that guy," Long Yongliang said furiously. "Young master, where are the 2 lions?" asked the Xian realm middle-aged man. "Forget about the 2 lions. Let's get rid of that bastard first and snatch the cannon in his hands." Long Yongliang said coldly, "Leave the lions to me. When the group of old chivalrous warriors saw how powerful Qin Yun's cannon was, they finally understood what it meant to be well equipped. Quickly leave, Qin Yun urged. The group of slaves were also released from the cages and brought into the forest by the group of old chivalrous men. A few spirit martial realm people chased after them, but they were killed by Qin Yun's throwing knives. You bastards, don't even think about escaping! A Xian martial realm martial monarch shouted in anger. Qin Yun promptly threw out a body-securing talisman and stopped the martial monarch who was flying over. Then he rushed over and used the 9 Sun Divine Hammer to strike the martial monarch's head. Boom! The martial monarch's head exploded and he was enveloped in flames. At this moment, Qin Yun also took out the middle-aged martial monarch's Dao core. A Xian martial monarch was actually killed in one move. One must know that Qin Yun fought many times with Bing Xing in the fantasy field. They were all extreme battles and all kinds of desperate fights. Now that he is using the 9 Sun Divine Hammer and 9 Extinction Steps, as long as he gets close, ordinary Xian martial realm martial monarchs who are not fully prepared will be killed by the Divine Hammer. The 9 Extinction primordial power unleashed by Qin Yun's 9 Sun Divine Hammer is incomparably ferocious. Especially after absorbing the Heavenly Lion Bone Spirit's power, it has become even more berserk. When the old chivalrous warriors saw how powerful Qin Yun is, they knew that if they stayed, they would only be a burden to Qin Yun. Therefore, they all escorted the slaves away. In the distance, 2 more Xian martial realm martial monarchs quickly flew over. Qin Yun smashed a Xian-level Dao core, causing the 2 martial monarchs' bodies to crack and fall to the ground with serious injuries. Long Yongliang and the others are incomparably shocked. Qin Yun actually killed 3 martial monarchs in one go. And an angry martial monarch, just as he rushed over, he was covered by Qin Yun's Heavenly Lion Dragon suppressing cauldron. There is only one Xian martial realm martial monarch left. They are all people who have just stepped into the Xian martial realm, and they are also very ordinary. Facing your equipment, they are not a match at all. Ling Yun laughed. The remaining martial monarch was also stopped by Qin Yun's body securing talisman, and then his Xian martial Dao core was taken out. Bastard! Long Yongliang shouted in anger. He can't leave now, he is being entangled by a heavenly lion. Those young masters are suddenly terrified. They have never encountered such a powerful person to deal with them. They suddenly felt that they were too confident. If they didn't deal with the 2 black lions, they wouldn't have divided their strength. The subordinates of several young masters were killed by Qin Yun's throwing knives in an instant. Qin Yun charged at Long Yongliang with the 9 Sun Divine Hammer in his hand. Although Long Yongliang has a Xian body, Qin Yun's Xian body is stronger and he also has a divine tool. Qin Yun can also control the Nether Realm Heavenly Lion to cooperate with his attack. In just 2 or 3 moves, Long Yongliang was captured by Qin Yun and locked inside the beast bag. The other 4 young masters were also captured one after another. Of course, they didn't know that the 2 black lions belonged to Qin Yun, and they didn't think about it in that direction. They only felt that the person who captured them is very strong and has all kinds of powerful equipment. This group of little trash is easier to deal with than I thought. Qin Yun also quickly left the forest. If a slightly stronger Xian martial realm martial monarch can save those slaves, why are there so few martial monarchs or martial kings? The old chivalrous warriors that Qin Yun saw before were all very old spirit martial realm martial masters. With their strength, they could barely protect themselves, let alone save people. Xiao Yun, if you reach the Xian martial realm and martial king realm, it means that you will have a longer lifespan and your life will be even more precious. And doing this kind of thing can easily anger a few great families and the Medicine Immortal Valley. If you are found out, you will undoubtedly die. Ling Yuner said, only you would dare to do such a thing. Qin Yun returned to Zhilong City that very night and prepared to attack the experts in the city. Zhilong City is also quite lively at night. Many slaves were forced to compete in martial arts for the guests who came to buy slaves to watch. There are also many people who came here to abuse the slaves. This is also the reason why this city is filled with hostility. Long Zhigui, your son is in my hands. You took away 4 of my Dao tools, I will definitely get them back for you. Qin Yun arrived at the eastern district of Zhilong City, beside a large mansion. He hid in the darkness and used the penetration divine ability to pass through the mansion's barrier. This is the Long family's mansion, and there is a Xian martial realm martial monarch inside. The moment Qin Yun entered, he could sense the aura of the martial monarch. He carefully arrived at a rather strict place in the mansion. Then, he used the penetration divine ability to enter a house and arrived at a secret room. The secret room is very large, and there are many formations inside that are used to absorb the 9 suns' spiritual energy. In the middle of the secret room, an old man is sitting cross-legged. Through the formation, he is absorbing the 9 suns' spiritual energy into his body to cultivate. The secret room is filled with dense 9 suns' spiritual energy. This also allowed Qin Yun to better conceal his aura. After Qin Yun entered, he used his extreme mental energy to control the 5 throwing knives and fiercely shot them out. The old man also sensed something flying over. He suddenly opened his eyes and jumped. However, he was still unable to dodge the throwing knives controlled by Qin Yun. His head was pierced by 3 throwing knives. Qin Yun strode over and took out the Heavenly Lion Dragon Suppression Cauldron. He placed the old man's body inside. Up until now, he had only used up 2 body-securing talismans. The guys inside are weaker than I imagined. Qin Yun looked at the formation inside and said with a look of disdain, "They're all trash formations. That evil dragon is in this mansion. I'll go kill all the Xian martial realm in this city first and then deal with that evil dragon." Next, Qin Yun visited the mansions of the slave masters one by one. In the middle of the night, he killed the Xian martial realm martial monarchs guarding the place. The number of martial monarchs here is a bit more than I expected. Qin Yun had killed 5 outside the city and another 7 inside the city. He also obtained several Xian martial realm Dao cores. They are all ordinary Xian martial realm cultivators. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been arranged here. Ling Yuner said, "Maybe there's an evil dragon here, so they don't think there's a need to arrange for stronger people." After Qin Yun dealt with the Xian martial realm martial monarchs, he released Long Yongliang from the beast bag. Long Yongliang injured him and became his hostage. He escorted Long Yongliang to Zhilong City's Long Mansion. Chapter 637. The dragon appears. Long Yongliang was the young master. If his father wasn't around, he would have the most power in this city. The people in the Long Manor, hearing his voice, she hurriedly opened the door and ran out. As soon as they came out, they saw that Long Yongliang was being held by someone, and there was a talisman stuck on his head. "Long Yongliang is your young master, right? Then please cooperate with me. If you anger me, the talisman on his forehead will explode." Qin Yun pushed Long Yongliang and entered the Long Manor. The inside of the Long Manor is very spacious. After Qin Yun entered, he saw a very large plaza. There are also some people in the spirit martial realm in the Long Mansion, but their strength is still too weak compared to Qin Yun. Don't move around. Try your best to satisfy this big brother's request. Although Long Yongliang was furious, he cared more about his own life, because he knew very well that the person who captured him could easily kill several Xian realm experts. He felt that he had been captured because the other party wanted something from him. "Our young master is the son of Long Zhigui. You should know that Long Zhigui is the city lord of this city, and also an elder of the Medicine Immortal Valley." A middle-aged man walked over and said coldly, "Of course I know." Qin Yun smiled and said to the middle-aged man, "Since you know, then quickly release the young master." Otherwise, you'll die," the middle-aged man said coldly. He felt that Long Jigue's name should be able to intimidate the person before him. Qin Yun laughed out loud. "So what if I don't? Will Long Jigue come and kill me immediately? You must know that Lord Long Jigue is an elder of the Medicine Immortal Valley, a core figure of the Long family. Since you've offended him, only death awaits you. No matter where you flee to, you'll be hunted down by him." The middle-aged man's voice was filled with threat as he said, "Many people have caused trouble here. Even disciples from the immortal sect have been killed one by one." Qin Yun doesn't believe this kind of nonsense. He said to the middle-aged man, "Kneel down. A guy like you who sells his life to Long Jigue is definitely not a good person. The middle-aged man is at the late stage of the spirit martial realm. His strength is not bad. Although he is Long Jigue's subordinate, he has a very high status here." Qin Yun grabbed Long Yongliang's arm and injected violent thunder and fire energy into it. "Ah!" Long Yongliang screamed. "Long Yongliang, quickly make this dog slave kneel down," Qin Yun shouted coldly. "Achang, quickly kneel down." Long Yongliang shouted angrily. "Young master, we shouldn't be afraid of him," Achang hurriedly said. "Not afraid of him? Do you want me to die?" Long Yongliang shouted. "He is extremely afraid of Qin Yun. If he kills you, he won't be able to escape this city. I've already informed the other families in the city. They'll send people over soon," Achang quickly said. "Quickly kneel down," Qin Yun said coldly. "Achang, those martial monarchs are all dead. They were all killed by this guy. Hurry up and kneel down. Otherwise, I will be the one to die. At that time, my father will not let you go," Long Yongliang said. "Is this true? How is that possible?" Achang was immediately alarmed. He originally thought that with a few Xian realm martial monarchs present, they could handle such a matter. But now they were all dead. There was also a martial lord in the profound martial realm in the Dragon Mansion. However, someone suddenly came over and told Achang that the martial lord had disappeared. "Achang, quickly kneel down." Long Yongliang sensed that Qin Yun was about to inject energy to torture him and immediately shouted. Achang, who was very calm just now, had no choice but to kneel on the ground. "People of the Long Mansion, listen up. Gather all the people who are doing business in the city here. I'm going to rob them. Don't tell anyone about this. If you spread it, I will dig out one of your young master's eyes." Qin Yun vigorously pinched Long Yongliang. "Hurry up and do it," Long Yongliang shouted. "Call in all the businessmen in the city." Qin Yun also saw that the plaza is very big and can accommodate many people. He said again, "Call the people from the other families in as well. Their young masters are all in my hands." After saying that, Qin Yun released the other 4 young masters. They are all tied up and have talismans stuck on their foreheads. They are all talismans that can explode. The young masters of the 5 great slave masters have all been captured. Everyone only felt that Qin Yun came to rob them. Not long after, many peddlers in the city came in. When they learned that it was Long Yongliang who invited them, they rushed over overnight. There are a total of several thousand people, shopkeepers who open shops in the city. All of them have smiles on their faces and their bodies are filled with evil aura. None of them are good people. At this time, people from the other families also rushed over one after another because they also learned that their young masters have been captured. One must know that those young masters are all very precious. At such a young age, their cultivation is already very high and their martial spirits are also not bad. Especially Long Yongliang. He even has a Xian body. But now, he has been captured. The people in the plaza also saw Qin Yun controlling Long Yongliang and the other young masters. They are also incomparably shocked by this. "We have done all of your previous requests. What about now?" Long Yongliang asked again. "Now?" Qin Yun laughed coldly and released 5 throwing daggers. The throwing daggers quickly pierced out and killed a large group of human traffickers in an instant. The people from the other families were also pierced to death by the throwing daggers. However, the Long Manor immediately screamed again and again. Many people tried to flee, but Qin Yun's throwing daggers are very fast. Those who wanted to flee were immediately killed by the throwing daggers. Long Yongliang watched as the people inside fell down and died one after another. He felt incomparable fear in his heart because he was very worried that he would also be killed like this. In just a moment, the Long Manor's plaza is flowing with the blood of this group of villains. Didn't you say you wanted to rob them? Long Yongliang's voice trembled as he asked. I'm too lazy to rob them. I hate them the moment I see them, so I killed them all. Qin Yun said with a chuckle. The people of the Long Manor were also killed by Qin Yun's throwing daggers one after another. The people of the Spirit Martial Realm did not dare to attack Qin Yun because there were a few young masters beside Qin Yun and they could not escape. In the end, they were also killed by the throwing daggers. What the hell do you want? Long Yongliang cried and shouted. Nothing much. Your father owes me something. I'm just here to get it back from him. Qin Yun said with a sneer. Moreover, you guys are trafficking people here and forcing others to be slaves. After doing this kind of heartless thing for so long, you should be punished. I'm only here to let them receive the corresponding punishment. All the human traffickers in the city died in an instant. Soon after, Qin Yun summoned 2 Netherrealm heavenly lions and started a massacre in the city to attack those who came to buy slaves. In just a short hour, a large number of people ran out of the city. Only the slaves remained in the city. After the chivalrous warriors in the vicinity learned of the situation, they all entered the city and very carefully investigated the situation inside. A few old chivalrous warriors rushed to the Long Manor as fast as they could and saw Qin Yun and Long Yongliang there. Young man, it's you. An old chivalrous warrior became extremely excited when he saw Qin Yun. Seniors, hurry up and evacuate the slaves here. The evil dragon in this city will appear soon. Qin Yun said. Achang is still kneeling on the ground. He is so scared that he can't speak. Long Yongliang is in despair and fear, his entire body is trembling. The few old chivalrous warriors are extremely excited because for many years, they have been looking forward to such a thing happening. They looked forward to the destruction of this city and the punishment of those families. Now, someone has finally done it. Young man, what's your name? The old chivalrous warrior's eyes are filled with admiration as he asked. Qin Yun. Qin Yun smiled at the old man. Qin Yun. Hearing these 2 words, Long Yongliang's body trembled. The other young masters' faces turned ashen. The few old chivalrous warriors are also incomparably shocked. They have long heard of Qin Yun's great name and they have always admired this young man. He dared to fight against the few great families, the Medicine Immortal Valley and the Azure Flame Immortal Mountain. And now this Zhilong city has been destroyed. The few old chivalrous warriors are filled with gratitude, admiration and excitement. They immediately took action to save the slaves in the city. Long Yongliang's voice trembled as he said, Qin Yun, don't kill me. My father values me very much. He will definitely promise you that he will return the 4 Dao tools to you. I know. Otherwise, you would have died a long time ago, just like this. As Qin Yun spoke, he controlled the 4 throwing knives to kill the 4 young masters. Long Yongliang saw the heads of the few young masters explode. They lay on the ground and twitched. He almost vomited because of fear. He has seen many dead people and killed many. He has played all kinds of bloody tricks, but now it is extremely likely that he will be killed. Incomparable fear enveloped him, causing him to be unable to stand steadily. You've killed so many people and committed so many sins, yet you're still afraid of death, Qin Yun said with a smile. Uncle Qin Yun, don't kill me. Long Yongyang pleaded as he cried. Where's that evil dragon? Still not coming out? Qin Yun shook his head and smiled when he saw Long Yongyang's frightened expression. That evil dragon is sleeping in a huge pit in the backyard of the Long mansion. It's better if you don't provoke that guy. Although it's a young dragon, it can kill a martial king. Long Yongyang was worried that Qin Yun would die. When that happened, he would die as well, so he hurriedly tried to persuade him. Qin Yun controlled the flying saber and attacked Ah Chang. Ah Chang, who is kneeling on the ground, screamed. His Dao core has been destroyed. Ah Chang, go to the Medicine Immortal Valley and tell Long Zhigue what happened here. If he wants his son back, bring a Dao tool to the Immortal Weapon Palace to find me. After Qin Yun finished speaking, he sent Ah Chang flying with a palm strike. The main door of the Long Manor was wide open. At this moment, there were a few people passing by outside. When they heard about such an explosive matter, they all left this place. It wouldn't take long for this to spread. Ah Chang left, and everyone in the Long Manor was killed. Qin Yun placed Long Yongyang into a beast bag and floated in the air. He released his mental energy and sensed that the slaves in the city had been taken away. After that, he took out a dead man's spirit martial Dao core and threw it towards the backyard of the Long Manor. Boom! Chapter 638. Bone Dragon vs. Evil Dragon. Qin Yun quickly took out the Dao cores of those people and placed them into a storage pearl. The storage pearl was specially refined by Qin Yun. It was refined to the size of a cannonball. It has a large space inside and can store many things. For example, he can put in a large amount of beast oil and shoot it out through the Xian Royal Cannon. Then, he can control the storage pearl to release the beast oil. It can be sprinkled everywhere and ignited to burn very fiercely. It is a must-have item for murder, arson, home, and travel. Different from exploding flame cannonballs, when the storage pearl is shot out, the beast oil that spills out is very quiet and there is no movement. Especially when the moon is dark and the wind is strong, it can ignite a violent flame very secretly. And now, Qin Yun placed many Dao cores of the Spirit Martial Realm and Martial Dao Realm into the storage pearl. He also planned to send a large number of Dao cores to attack the dragon in one go. After Qin Yun collected many Dao cores, the evil dragon flew out. So it's a mixed-breed dragon. Qin Yun saw that the dragon looks like a lizard and secretly despised it. He thought that it was a dragon. The dragon also noticed Qin Yun and flapped its wings as it swooped down. When it came down, it spat out a black flame from its mouth. At night, the black flame is like a black mist, attacking the earth and igniting the entire dragon manor. Previously, there was a Xian martial realm martial monarch here to control the dragon. And now, that martial monarch has been killed by Qin Yun. Without anyone to control the dragon, it became even more berserk. Qin Yun is not afraid of the dragon. This beast is not weak, but its speed is too slow. Furthermore, it only knows how to spit fire. It can only scare people. Qin Yun suddenly heard the moon in the sky. Although the dragon's speed is very slow, its perception is very strong. It can sense Qin Yun from afar, and then it flapped its wings and flew over. Qin Yun deliberately lured the dragon to fly at a low altitude within the city, allowing the dragon to ignite the rotten and dirty Zhilong city. This kind of stupid dragon is the easiest to deal with. Ling Yuner said, Xiao Yun, do you see the beast governing collar on its neck? If the beast governing collar is glowing, it means that its master is nearby. It's not glowing right now and no one is commanding it. It can only act recklessly. Outside the city, there are also many people watching the black dragon spitting fire at the city. They were destroying Zhilong city. A sharp-eyed person could see Qin Yun flying around inside the city, deliberately guiding the evil dragon to destroy the city. Qin Yun has just passed through a crisis and became a disciple of the Immortal Weapon City. He actually came out to cause trouble again. That dragon was raised here by the medicine Immortal Valley. Qin Yun has come to provoke the medicine Immortal Valley again. Back when Long Zhigui obtained Qin Yun's 4 Dao artifacts, Qin Yun was only here to seek revenge. Long Zhigui's son was also arrested. That is a Xian body disciple of the medicine Immortal Valley. There will be a good show to watch. It's a pity that this slave city is completely gone. It'll be inconvenient to buy slaves in the future. As soon as these people finished speaking, he saw a black shadow rushing over. The dragon was flying over. Qin Yun had heard their voices from afar. After flying over, he said with a smile, "You want slaves? Go look for it in hell." After saying that, he controlled the flying knife and went over to kill these people. The dragon also rushed over and spewed out flames, burning down the tower. Xiao Yun, this dragon's strength is only about the same as a martial king, but its defense and speed are far inferior. It's not very strong. Ling Yun said. And this city is almost destroyed. Qin Yun flew in the air and looked down at the buildings below. They were all ignited by the black flames. This dragon doesn't have a black fire martial spirit. That black flame is only devil fire. Ling Yun said, "We can kill this dragon now." Qin Yun took out the Xian royal cannon and shot a storage pearl at the dragon's mouth. There are many trash Dao cores inside the storage pearl. After being shot out by the Xian royal cannon, they accurately fell into the dragon's mouth. Then, the Dao cores inside the storage pearl were also released and detonated by Qin Yun's mental power. Boom boom boom! A series of explosions rang out and the dragon's mouth was blasted open. A large hole appeared in its abdomen. It has to be said that this dragon is still very strong. After being blasted like this, it can still flap its wings and maintain balance while flying. Roar! The evil dragon was infuriated and spat out a large amount of flames from its mouth. This was all produced by the explosion of the Dao core. This guy is quite tough. He actually didn't get killed. Qin Yun felt somewhat surprised and said in surprise. As he spoke, he released his bone dragon. After the bone dragon was released, it immediately entered battle mode. Qin Yun's bone dragon's original strength is comparable to martial emperors. Dragon bones are very firm, and after carving dragon totem, they gradually strengthened. The bone dragon is Qin Yun's puppet. As Qin Yun's mental power increases, it will constantly increase in strength. Go! Qin Yun controlled the bone dragon and flew over. Although the evil dragon had a wingspan of dozens of meters, however, Qin Yun's bone dragon's body is more than 100 meters long. The bones on its body are very thick. When the huge dragon tail swept over, it was like a huge axe chopping down. Boom! The evil dragon fell to the ground. The bone dragon swooped down, opened its mouth, and used its huge, sharp teeth to bite the evil dragon and began to tear it apart. The evil dragon roared as it was bitten. It was not a match for the bone dragon at all. Qin Yun flew over and took out the heavenly lion dragon suppressing cauldron. After he stepped into the spirit martial realm, he could gradually use the powerful bone spirit power to unleash the power of the heavenly lion dragon suppressing cauldron. Under Qin Yun's control, the heavenly lion dragon suppressing cauldron suddenly became extremely huge. Qin Yun controlled the bone dragon and placed the struggling evil dragon into the mountain-like heavenly lion dragon suppressing cauldron. Boom! The huge lid of the heavenly lion dragon suppressing cauldron closed and the evil dragon was captured alive. This mixed breed dragon is really weak. I originally thought it would be very difficult. Qin Yun heaved a long sigh and kept the bone dragon. Then, he quickly left the ruined slave city. Many people outside the city also saw the great battle between the bone dragon and the evil demon. Many people knew that Qin Yun has a powerful bone dragon puppet. However, they did not expect it to be so powerful that it could actually kill the evil dragon of the medicine Immortal Valley. Originally, Qin Yun had prepared Xian talismans, throwing knife talisman weapons and a few specially refined Xian Wu Dao core cannonballs. But now, he did not use them. Of course, he could still use them in the future. After all, those things are very powerful. For him to be able to go so smoothly, he had to thank those young masters. It was precisely because he had captured Long Yongliang and company that he was able to easily defeat the few families in Slave City. Qin Yun successfully captured Long Yongliang and quickly rushed back to the Immortal Weapon City. Zhilong City is a city that sells slaves. It is also quite famous, and it is also the city that many commoner martial artists hate the most. Because many of the slaves in Slave City are commoner martial artists or the family members of commoner martial artists. However, because Zhilong City's backing is very strong, it is the Long family and the Medicine Immortal Valley, as well as the protection of the Evil Dragon, commoner martial artists are simply unable to contend against them. Over the years, there have often been ordinary martial artists who went to rescue the slaves or fight against Zhilong City. However, most of them were killed in revenge. Even so, the number of chivalrous warriors did not decrease. However, it is not easy for commoner martial artists to cultivate. There are very few martial monarchs in the Xian martial realm. Therefore, those who went to fight against Zhilong City were all at the late-stage spirit martial realm. The group of old chivalrous warriors that Qin Yun encountered before could be considered a very strong group of commoner martial artists. However, due to the disparity in equipment, it was difficult for them to resist. Now, Zhilong City has been destroyed in a single night. To the commoner martial artists of the proud Star State, this is incomparably exciting news. Many people who were once slaves or had their family members captured and sold cheered incomparably. And what is shocking is that the person who did this sensational thing is actually a very young person. It is none other than Qin Yun, who has become very famous during this period of time. Qin Yun is a disciple of the Immortal Weapon City. He is an enemy of a few great aristocratic families. He is someone that the Medicine Immortal Valley and the Azure Flame Immortal Mountain hate greatly. When Qin Yun fought against these great powers, he suffered a great loss and lost 4 Dao tools. Now, everyone knows that the master of Zhilong City is Long Zhigui. He is also the person who took away Qin Yun's 4 Dao tools. Many people admire Qin Yun's magnificent feat and praised him endlessly. Of course, they are also very worried that the Medicine Immortal Valley will retaliate. As for the Long family, they have long been enemies with Qin Yun. Right now, the patriarch of the Long family does not dare to go out. He is worried that he will lose his head. The destruction of Zhilong City caused the entire Medicine Immortal Valley to be furious. Especially after knowing that the evil dragon was captured alive by Qin Yun, they became even more furious. Qin Yun returned to the Immortal Weapon City and entered the Immortal Weapon Palace. In the courtyard of the small residence, he laid on a chair. Not long after he returned, Granny Ma, Chu Binyu and Bao Changshu arrived. After they found out about what happened in Zhilong City, they also felt that Qin Yun had caused a huge ruckus. This is undoubtedly a very presumptuous provocation of the Medicine Immortal Valley. When the 3 seniors arrived, Qin Yun is still lying on a rocking chair, humming a little tune. Qin Yun, you little demon, you are really messing around. After Bao Changshu arrived, he sighed helplessly. To think that you are the brains of a righteous sect. You actually tolerate the existence of a place like Zhilong City? Qin Yun curled his lips and said, Sect Master, if I had your strength, I would only need a bit of time to flatten Zhilong City. Granny Ma said, I have never meddled in other people's business. That Zhilong City is the property of other sects. If we go and deal with the property of other powers, then our property will also be attacked. Granny Ma, what you said is wrong. What kind of property is that Zhilong City? That kind of shady business is very inhumane. Qin Yun said with a light snort. Does our immortal weapon city also have this kind of business that destroys other people's families? If there is, I will immediately leave the immortal weapon city. Granny Ma also stopped speaking. Qin Yun also knows that these seniors have lived for thousands of years. They have seen everything and are numb to it. And in their eyes, raising their cultivation and obtaining a longer lifespan is the most important thing. Chapter 639. Drive him away again? Bao Changshu is also feeling very stifled. He admits that Qin Yun is a rare genius, but because of this, he has become enemies with many great powers. The reason why Qin Yun destroyed Zhilong City was also for revenge, because his 4 Dao tools were taken away by the city lord of Zhilong City. That is Qin Yun's own personal grudges. Generally speaking, when a disciple privately settles his own personal grudges, the immortal weapon city would not interfere. However, Qin Yun's enemies are all very powerful. For example, the Zhilong city that Qin Yun has destroyed is related to the Medicine Immortal Valley and the Long family. Qin Yun, I'll tell you the truth. In the immortal weapon city, including me, there are a total of 7 people who have the authority to make decisions. If the matter is too serious, we will vote. If they propose to expel you from the sect, then the 7 of us will vote and the result will be decided according to the vote. Bao Changshu said these words to let Qin Yun know his place in the future. Chu Binyu said with a smile, Qin Yun, if the immortal weapon city doesn't want you anymore, then return to the Saber Sword Villa. Our Saber Sword Villa has an elder in the Sword Immortal Pavilion who is at the half-immortal realm. Bao Changshu curled his lips and said, Old Chu, are you poaching people for the Sword Immortal Pavilion? Your immortal weapon city is so afraid of the Medicine Immortal Valley and the Azure Flame Immortal Mountain, but the Sword Immortal Pavilion is not. Chu Binyu said with a smile, Even I am not afraid of those 2 immortal sections. Rest assured and let Qin Yun deal with them. I have long since disliked these 2 immortal sects. Old Chu, you will cause Qin Yun's death. I told him to settle down a bit, that is also for his own good. Bao Changshu sighed. Settle down? Could it be that he will stay in the immortal weapon palace forever? If Qin Yun had settled down from the beginning, he would not have his current achievement. Chu Binyu said with a smile, When I was young, I also caused a lot of trouble, but I never regretted it. Villa Master is right, great minds think alike. Qin Yun said with a smile. At this moment, an elder hurriedly walked in and said, Sect Master, the people from the Medicine Immortal Valley, Long Family and Azure Flame Immortal Mountain have arrived. There are only a dozen of them, but they are all half-immortal realm. Has Long Ji returned? Qin Yun asked hurriedly. He also came. The elder looked at Qin Yun with a look of admiration. Bao Changshu asked, Why are they here? They are outside the immortal weapon palace. As for their purpose, the elder looked at Qin Yun and said, They are here to discuss Qin Yun's matter. Alright, let's go out and meet them. Bao Changshu said. Outside the entrance of the immortal weapon palace, there are already many people waiting to watch the show. When they saw the half-immortals from the Long family, Medicine Immortal Valley and Azure Flame Immortal Mountain, they became secretly excited. One must know that last time, the 2 immortal sects, Medicine Immortal Valley and Azure Flame Immortal Mountain, did not have any half-immortal realm cultivators. Now that he is here, it means that the matter of Qin Yun destroying Zhilong City has made the Medicine Immortal Valley extremely embarrassed and angry. Therefore, they decided to settle all the old and new scores. Before Lu Chongxing was killed, Medicine Immortal Valley was very angry. It is also because Lu Chongxing was in the wrong first and Qin Yun went to the Immortal Weapon City, so the Medicine Immortal Valley temporarily endured. After all, they are not in the right. If it got out of hand, the Divine Inscription Palace would also intervene. Now, Zhilong City has been destroyed and the dragon has been captured alive by Qin Yun. causing the Medicine Immortal Valley to suffer huge losses. The Medicine Immortal Valley could no longer sit still and sent out half-immortal realm cultivators. After the Azure Flame Immortal Mountain learned of this matter, they also expressed that they would stand together with the Medicine Immortal Valley to fight against the Immortal Weapon City. The half-immortals of the Medicine Immortal Valley and the Azure Flame Immortal Mountain look very spirited. They are much stronger than the half-immortals of the aristocratic families. Immortal Weapon Sect Master, we won't waste any more words. You should know what Qin Yun did before, right? You can just expel him from the sect and drive him out of this city. Let us settle this with him. The white-haired old man with delicate skin from the Medicine Immortal Valley said coldly. You few half-immortal realm cultivators want to settle things with Qin Yun, a little demon at the spirit martial realm? Have you all been living like dogs for so many years? Or could it be that other than you half-immortal realm cultivators, everyone else in your Medicine Immortal Valley is trash? Chu Binyu said with a sneer. This kind of matter is something for the younger generation to settle by themselves. Generally speaking, when the younger generation of the various sects and families have conflicts, they would settle it themselves. The elders and the powers behind them would rarely intervene. And the strongest person who had conflicts with Qin Yun was only a martial king. But now, a few half-immortal realm cultivators have jumped out to deal with it. This is indeed a very shameful matter. The most laughable thing is that Qin Yun is only at the spirit martial realm, but he wants to let a senior of the half-immortal realm come out. Chu Binyu's words caused the three half-immortal realm cultivators to be speechless for a moment. This is mainly because Qin Yun's overall strength is too terrifying. Furthermore, he always acts alone. By himself, he can cause chaos in a city. If Qin Yun were to continue living, the large and small businesses of the great powers that have enmity with Qin Yun would be in trouble. That is the foundation of the great powers. Furthermore, Qin Yun's existence has caused these great powers to lose face. Bao Changsho said indifferently, Qin Yun is our disciple. His personal grudges are also settled by him alone. We have never helped him behind his back. And you guys? You and Qin Yun have such a big conflict. If we investigate it, it is your juniors who are in the wrong first. This matter was caused by your arrogant juniors. Those juniors who stirred up trouble were all killed by Qin Yun. This matter should have come to an end. However, you old ones always jump out one or two and bully Qin Yun. Granny Ma said with a sneer. You guys are so obsessed with dealing with Qin Yun. I'm afraid it is only in the name of revenge, right? The good things on Qin Yun's body, and the fact that he can lure out Yang Shiryu, this is the real reason why you are dealing with Qin Yun. Yang Shiryu possesses the Star Lord inscription spirit. Many experts of the great powers are looking for her everywhere. And now, knowing that Qin Yun and Yang Shiryu have an extremely good relationship, they have set their sights on Qin Yun. The Medicine Immortal Valley and Qin Yun have the biggest conflict, so they have the biggest excuse to deal with Qin Yun. Not only can they take revenge, they can also capture Qin Yun and reap the greatest benefit. Qin Yun has a bone dragon, totem runes, and it is said that he also has a very strong Dao tool. In addition, he can lure out Yang Shiryu. Therefore, the Medicine Immortal Valley made up their mind to send out a half-immortal realm expert to capture Qin Yun. Stop talking nonsense. Qin Yun, quickly release our Medicine Immortal Valley's dragon and Long Yongliang. Make sure that he is not crippled. The half-immortal old man from the Medicine Immortal Valley said coldly. Don't even think about that dragon, it's a man-eating beast. Qin Yun said coldly. As for Long Yongliang, take out 4 Dao tools to exchange with me. Qin Yun pointed at a person and shouted, Long Zhigui, you are the one who stole my 4 ancient Dao tools. If you don't hand them over, you can only get your son's head. Qin Yun, we haven't settled the old debt of killing Lu Chongxing with you. Long Zhigui immediately became furious. Lu Chongxing besieged us and wanted to snatch our heavenly beast bones. He was in the wrong first. Moreover, they even shielded him. If you had been tactful and returned the heavenly beast bones that Lu Chongxing snatched to us, there wouldn't have been so much trouble. Less nonsense. If you don't return the 4 ancient Dao tools, I will hang your son's head on the city gate tomorrow. Qin Yun's words are filled with anger and killing intent. His attitude is very firm. Long Zhigui is angry and anxious. He looked at the half-immortal experts of the Long family and the medicine Immortal Valley and cast a pleading look. The reason for that was because he had handed over the 4 ancient Dao artifacts. You can't take them out, right? Then goodbye. After Qin Yun finished speaking, he turned around and walked into the Immortal Weapon Palace. Immortal Weapon Sect Master, if this goes on, we will really start a war. Your Immortal Weapon City has a lot of businesses outside, and we have a few aristocratic families and 2 immortal sects here. Do you think you can win? The half-immortal elder of the Medicine Immortal Valley is full of confidence and sneered. If we have a war, I guarantee that your Immortal Weapon City will quickly decline. The half-immortal elder of the Azure Flame Immortal Mountain sneered. Moreover, the people of this Immortal Weapon City will definitely leave quickly in order to avoid being affected. At that time, it will be the beginning of your Immortal Weapon City's decline. After Bao Changshu heard this, he said angrily, "Are you threatening me?" "No, I'm not threatening you. I'm threatening the entire Immortal Weapon City." The half-immortal of the Medicine Immortal Valley smiled proudly and said, "In this city, so many people pay taxes to you. Isn't it for stability? However, in order to protect Qin Yun, you are willing to sacrifice the entire Immortal Weapon City. How can people trust you in the future?" The old man deliberately spoke in a loud voice. The people in the Immortal Weapon City are all panicking. If a war really breaks out, they have to leave quickly to avoid being affected. "Do you think that our Immortal Weapon City is a soft persimmon?" Bao Changshu said with a sneer. "If we end up in a life-and-death struggle, even if our Immortal Weapon City is gone, we will still make you suffer heavy losses. We would rather suffer heavy losses to annihilate you. At least we still exist in the proud Star State, and your Immortal Weapon City will completely disappear." The half-immortal of the Medicine Immortal Valley laughed loudly and said, "If you don't believe me, give it a try." The half-immortal of the Azure Flame Immortal Mountain shouted, "Bao Changshu, there are 6 other half-immortals in the Immortal Weapon Palace. Let them come out and make a decision." Just as he finished speaking, 6 white-robed elders flew out. They did not look that old. Their complexion was extremely good and they were full of energy. One could tell that they were not half-immortals who were at the end of their lives. When the half-immortal of the Long family saw these few elders, he secretly felt jealous. Because he is an extremely old person. At most, he only has a few hundred years left to live, unless he can break through and become an immortal. Bao Changshu looked at the few elders and said with some self-blame, "I've alarmed you. This disciple of Qin Yun's has indeed caused a lot of trouble, causing us to be besieged by many forces. If we drive him away, we can avoid these troubles." An old man said, "If we do this, won't it make people think that we are weak?" A short bald old man did not agree with driving Qin Yun away. "You have to know that it was Qin Yun who defeated Ing Qingyu's disciple and protected our palace protection immortal tool. We can give him some compensation and escort him to other cities to prevent him from being killed as soon as he leaves the city." An old man with disheveled hair said. Chapter 640. Bing Xing's Fury. Qin Yun quietly listened from the side. He can also see that there are a few half-immortal elders who are developing steadily. If the Immortal Weapon City was besieged, this place would definitely be under great threat. And avoiding war was very simple. It was to abandon Qin Yun. Qin Yun had been abandoned by the Divine Inscription Palace before, so he was not surprised by such matters. Could it really be that I'm a lone star? Qin Yun sighed inwardly. The half-immortals of the Medicine Immortal Valley and the Azure Flame Immortal Mountain are secretly pleased with themselves. That is because most of the half-immortals support giving up on Qin Yun. The onlookers were also pondering. If it were them, what would they do? Would they give up on Qin Yun? Let's vote by raising our hands. Those who support Qin Yun, raise your hands. Bao Changsho sighed helplessly. Only 3 people raised their hands. Bao Changsho, the short, bald old man, and a tall, muscular old man. The other 4 half-immortals did not raise their hands. Clearly they want to give up on Qin Yun. The Medicine Immortal Valley's half-immortal laughed proudly. Giving up on Qin Yun is a wise decision. Who knows what kind of trouble he will cause for you in the future? Bao Changsho sighed and said, if not for Qin Yun, our Palace Protection Immortal Tool would have been lost long ago. We can't be ungrateful. For the sake of the big picture, we can only do this. Just give him some compensation. An old man said coldly. Medicine Immortal Valley, Azure Flame Immortal Mountain, we are willing to give up Qin Yun, but we are not handing Qin Yun over to you, so don't even think about capturing Qin Yun immediately. An old man said. It's up to you. As long as your Immortal Weapon City no longer takes in Qin Yun, it will be much easier for us to settle our grudges with him. The Medicine Immortal Valley's half-immortal laugh. The old man from the Azure Flame Immortal Mountain asked, in that case, you have decided to give up on Qin Yun? Bao Changsho looked at Qin Yun and felt very guilty. Sect Master, many thanks for taking care of me these past few days. Qin Yun is very calm, he smiled at Bao Changsho. It can be seen that he was already prepared. Qin Yun, old Chu is right. You didn't do anything wrong at all. It's all because those fellows coveted the good stuff on you. That's why the grassland tried to rob you time and time again. You were just trying to protect yourself. Moreover, it was their arrogant disciples who provoked you first. In order to protect yourself, you retaliated against them. That was the right thing to do. Bao Changsho sighed. We have decided to give up on Qin Yun. A half-immortal from Immortal Weapon City said loudly. At this moment, a familiar voice suddenly came from the crowd. Great, then our Sword Immortal Pavilion wants Qin Yun. The person who spoke is Jian Shitian. Jian Shitian laughed loudly and arrived in a flash. After the people of Medicine Immortal Valley and Azure Flame Immortal Mountain heard this, they all felt that they have been screwed. The reason why they can threaten the Immortal Weapon City is because they know that the strength of the Immortal Weapon City is limited. But the Sword Immortal Pavilion is different. Behind it is the Jian family. The Sword Immortal Pavilion is not afraid of Azure Flame Immortal Mountain and Medicine Immortal Valley. Qin Yun, after a who sparred with you, he went into extremely harsh seclusion cultivation. When the time comes for the martial arts tournament, he will definitely be even stronger. If you come to our Sword Immortal Pavilion, you can also participate in our selection. With your strength, you will definitely be able to obtain a spot to participate in the martial arts tournament. Jian Shitian is a legendary figure, powerful and respected by people. He personally came here to invite Qin Yun to join the Sword Immortal Pavilion. This is of great significance. One must know that Qin Yun is not a disciple who uses swords. He mainly uses sabers. The Sword Immortal Pavilion requires disciples to use swords. The entrance examination will also test the disciples' feelings towards swords. Jian Shitian, the Sword Immortal Pavilion's sect master, made an exception to allow Qin Yun to join. Furthermore, he personally came to invite him. It can be seen that Qin Yun's talent is truly astonishing. The few half-immortals from the Immortal Weapon City who supported giving up on Qin Yun also have extremely ugly expressions. They are very clear about Jian Shitian's status and strength. Now that Jian Shitian is protecting Qin Yun, it is like slapping their faces. He said that they have eyes but cannot see, giving up such a treasure. Qin Yun, don't hesitate. Don't tell me you really want to go to Demon Moon Island? I admit that there are indeed many beautiful women there. But you are a man. If you hang out with a bunch of women all day, it will be very easy for you to be hollowed out. Jian Shitian chuckled and patted Qin Yun's shoulder. He said, "Come to our Sword Immortal Pavilion. Our Sword Immortal Pavilion also has some beauties. I can introduce a few to you." Everyone found it inconceivable. The seemingly serious Jian Shitian actually said such words. Furthermore, he even used such a method to seduce Qin Yun. It is too shameless. Everyone is also secretly jealous of Qin Yun. One must know that it is very difficult for many sword users to enter the Sword Immortal Pavilion. As for Qin Yun, he was invited by the Sword Immortal Pavilion's sect master, and even offered such alluring conditions. Jian Shitian saw that Qin Yun is hesitating and said again, "Qin Yun, the beautiful disciples of our Sword Immortal Pavilion are not as barbaric as that girl Rian. They are all very gentle. You are so outstanding, you will definitely be able to chase after them. How about this? In our Sword Immortal Pavilion, there is a very famous sword forger. She is also an outstanding Dao inscription master. She is a beautiful elder, she is very strong, she is a martial emperor and is preparing to step into the half-immortal realm. I will arrange for you to stay with her, he. The people from the Medicine Immortal Valley and the Azure Flame Immortal Mountain are so angry that their hearts are about to explode. If Qin Yun really entered the Sword Immortal Pavilion, then they would be in danger. Bao Changshu and Granny Ma secretly despised Jian Shitian. He actually shamelessly tried to rope in Qin Yun and even sold out his sect's beautiful disciples and beautiful elders. I'm a little tempted. Is that beautiful sword forger's character good? If she's a tigress like Jian Rian, I won't go. Qin Yun's eyes lit up. Jian Rian, who just walked out, heard this and immediately said angrily, "Qin Yun, who are you calling a tigress?" Xiao Yan, Qin Yun is about to leave the Immortal Weapon City and become a disciple of our Sword Immortal Pavilion. You should bid farewell to him. Jian Shitian patted Qin Yun's shoulder and said with a smile, "Qin Yun, hurry up and scram." Jian Rian said angrily. Jian Shitian chuckled and said, "Qin Yun, that beautiful sword forger is very beautiful and her personality is very good. I will arrange for you to go to her place and learn sword forging from her." Alright. Qin Yun also agreed because so far, the Sword Immortal Pavilion is the best place to go. Furthermore, Jian Shitian is so enthusiastic, it is not good for Qin Yun to reject, especially that beautiful sword forger. The people from the Sword Immortal Pavilion and the Azure Flame Immortal Mountain originally thought that it would be more convenient to make a move on Qin Yun after Qin Yun left the Immortal Weapon City. But now it seems that it is even more difficult. "Let's go," Jian Shitian said. Just as he was about to bring Qin Yun away, a terrifying energy suddenly burst out from the Immortal Weapon Palace. It is an extremely terrifying immortal power. The immortal power burst out from the Immortal Weapon Palace's entrance and locked onto Jian Shitian, causing his face to be filled with shock and incomparable fear. After the powerful immortal power locked onto Jian Shitian for an instant, it immediately disappeared and enveloped the people from the Long Family, Medicine Immortal Valley and the Azure Flame Immortal Mountain. The faces of the half-immortal elders from the three powers immediately turned deathly pale. They are incomparably terrified. The martial kings and martial kings that followed along also had blood flowing from the corners of their mouths as they knelt on the ground. "Qin Yun, you are not allowed to leave. You will forever be a disciple of my Immortal Weapon City." The Immortal Weapon Palace emitted an ice-cold, emotionless and illusory voice. That is Bing Xing's voice. Jian Shitian also promptly distanced himself from Qin Yun, no longer daring to rope him in. But a few elders have decided to abandon me. Qin Yun thought that Bing Xing could not leave the Immortal Weapon Palace, so she could not care about the matters here. He never expected that with her powerful immortal power, she would be able to escape. They can't make the decision, Bing Xing said coldly. Then the Medicine Immortal Valley and the Azure Flame Immortal Mountain want to wage war against the Immortal Weapon City. If I stay, I will harm the Immortal Weapon City, Qin Yun said again. If they really dare, I guarantee that they will disappear from the proud Star State before they start the war. Bing Xing's voice is filled with might, causing the group of people from the Medicine Immortal Valley to tremble in fear. Grand Elder, aren't you in seclusion? A half-immortal old man from the Immortal Weapon City said with a head full of sweat. He never expected that this Grand Elder would actually protect Qin Yun to this extent. I came out of seclusion a long time ago. We must keep Qin Yun here. If we chase Qin Yun out and let him join the Sword Immortal Pavilion, then our Immortal Weapon City will definitely become a laughingstock. We are definitely not afraid of the Medicine Immortal Valley and the Azure Flame Immortal Mountain, and we are definitely not weaker than the Sword Immortal Pavilion. Bing Xing's voice is filled with a domineering aura that no one dared to disobey. Jian Shitian is incomparably shocked. He looked at Bao Changshu and the others because he never expected that there would be such a powerful person in the Immortal Weapon City. This great figure did not appear. Just by using her aura, she was able to suppress these half-immortals to the point that they were unable to breathe. That means that the Grand Elder is an immortal. A true immortal is an incomparably terrifying existence. The half-immortals of the Medicine Immortal Valley and the Azure Flame Immortal Mountain are also extremely terrified. Because in the Spirit Desolate, it is impossible for immortals to exist. Even if there were, the immortals would be sucked away by the Immortal Desolate. Although the surrounding people don't understand what is going on, they know that the woman in the Immortal Weapon Palace is extremely powerful. Senior Jian, I still want to go to the Sword Immortal Pavilion and learn sword forging from that beautiful swordsmith, Qin Yun said softly. Quickly take me away. Just as he finished speaking, Jian Shitian's expression changed. That powerful immortal power locked onto him again. I was just joking before and deliberately lied to you. Our Sword Immortal Pavilion doesn't have any beautiful swordsmith. Jian Shitian cursed Qin Yun in his heart and said with a dry laugh. Why not? That's our Jian family's great beauty, I've seen her before. Jian Ruyan said mischievously. You damned girl. Jian Shitian cursed in a low voice and then quickly left. He doesn't dare to bring Qin Yun away now, nor is he able to. Otherwise, he might die here. Jian Shitian was scared away, causing everyone to exclaim in low voices. You have enmity with Qin Yun, you can just settle the score with him? Why are you targeting our entire Immortal Weapon City? Bing Xing's angry voice sounded out, causing people to feel as if an iceberg is pressing down on them, ice cold and heavy. Chapter 641. Immortal Bed Medicine Immortal Valley, Azure Flame Immortal Mountain, and Long Family only have enmity with Qin Yun. They do not have much hatred for the entire Immortal Weapon City. However, Qin Yun was always hiding in the Immortal Weapon Palace, making them helpless. In order to capture Qin Yun, they could only put pressure on the Immortal Weapon City. This was originally their fault. There were many private grudges between the disciples of the various large sects, but it rarely led to a war between the sections. Even if there was enmity between the elders of the two sects, they would settle it privately. Like the Medicine Immortal Valley, they forced the Immortal Weapon City to drive away Qin Yun. It is a very excessive approach. If you guys cause trouble here again, don't even think about going back. Bing Xing's angry words caused those few half-immortals to tremble. If Bing Xing did not participate in this matter, Qin Yun also plans to go to the Sword Immortal Pavilion. But now that Bing Xing has appeared, he naturally has to continue staying in the Immortal Weapon Palace. He had an agreement with Bing Xing to use the Immortal Origins and Sun Moon Immortal Bed inside. If he went to the Sword Immortal Pavilion, even if he received very high treatment, it would not be as good as being with Bing Xing. Just now, he deliberately said that he wanted to be together with that beautiful swordsmith to provoke Bing Xing. As expected, she was very sensitive to this and immediately got angry. Medicine Immortal Valley and Azure Flame Immortal Mountains half-immortals are also scared out of their wit. They also want to slip away like Jian Shirtian. However, they were troublemakers, so there was no way they could escape. Medicine Immortal Valley, Azure Flame Immortal Mountain, Long Family, we will not participate in the grudges between you and Qin Yun. If you really have the ability to deal with him outside, then deal with him. However, in the territory of our Immortal Weapon City, don't even think about messing around. Bao Changshu coldly snorted. All of you, quickly scram! The short bald half-immortal shouted. The disciples of the Immortal Weapon City suddenly felt very impressive. Because the Medicine Immortal Valley and the others are not able to gain the upper hand here. Instead, they are at a disadvantage. Wait, Long Yongliang is still with me. Qin Yun said, do you think Long Yongliang or those 4 ancient Dao tools are more important? Back then, you captured Captain Ku and forced me to hand over the Dao artifact. That was your fault. Now, I'm just using the same method. The Dao tools are not in our hands. A half-immortal said. Within 3 days, return the 4 ancient Dao tools to me. Qin Yun's voice is filled with anger, he said. Otherwise Long Yongliang will die. I'm sorry. I disassembled your Dao artifact and studied it. Long Zhigui sneered. Those 4 Dao artifacts are already gone. How do you want us to return them to you? After Qin Yun heard this, he immediately became furious and released Long Yongliang. Father! After Long Yongliang was released, he cried loudly. Say goodbye to your father. After Qin Yun finished speaking, he pressed his palm down and a violent flame poured into Long Yongliang's body. Boom! Long Yongliang instantly exploded and turned into ashes. Looking at the ashes on the ground, everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. Qin Yun actually killed a Xian body disciple like Long Yongliang in front of Medicine Immortal Valley and Long Family. Of course, for Qin Yun to be able to turn a Xian body martial master into ashes with a single palm, that kind of power was also extremely shocking. Yongliang! Long Zhigui roared furiously. A villain like your son is unable to match up to my 4 ancient Dao artifacts. Medicine Immortal Valley, Long Family, listen up. I, Qin Yun, still want to kill 3 more of your Xian body disciples to repay the debt. Qin Yun's furious voice shook the entrance of the Immortal Weapon Palace. Long Zhigui immediately took out a sword and suddenly appeared in front of Qin Yun. He stabbed forward with lightning speed. Long Zhigui is also a very strong martial king. Even Bao Changshu would not be able to block his sneak attack at such a close distance. Clang! Long Zhigui's sword stabbed towards Qin Yun's heart and a small cauldron suddenly appeared. It is the Heavenly Lion Dragon Suppression Cauldron. Long Zhigui's desperate attack also failed. Die! Bing Xing shouted angrily and Long Zhigui suddenly turned into an ice sculpture. Long Zhigui, who had turned into an ice sculpture, was shattered by Qin Yun's palm strike. With a crashing sound, the shattered ice fell to the ground and gradually melted. This scared many people to the point that they almost cried out. Long Zhigui is such a strong person, yet he was instantly frozen along with his weapon. Furthermore, it was shattered with a single palm strike. At this moment, everyone is even more afraid of the Grand Elder of the Immortal Weapon Palace. You all, your Immortal Weapon City, don't go too far. Medicine Immortal Valley's half-immortal shouted angrily. If you don't get lost, I'll go. All of you will die too. After Bing Xing's angry words came out, the Azure Flame Immortal Mountain and Long Family's half-immortals ran away like rabbit. Medicine Immortal Valley's half-immortal saw that the situation is not right and quickly flew away. If you dare to take revenge on our immortal weapon city, then just wait to be annihilated. Bing Xing's words enveloped the entire immortal weapon city. Even outside the city, her cold voice could be heard. Bao Changshu said, "Grand Elder, I'm really sorry for disturbing you. If something like this happens again, inform me first." After Bing Xing finished speaking, her ice-cold aura suddenly disappeared. Bing Xing has already retracted her power. Qin Yun heaved a sigh of relief. The anger in his heart had finally dissipated. However, it was a pity for his 4 ancient Dao treasures. Therefore, his revenge against the Long family and the Medicine Immortal Valley is not over. And the Long family and the Medicine Immortal Valley will not let him off just like that. They don't dare to target the Immortal Weapon City, but it is still possible to capture Qin Yun. Granny Ma shook her head and said, "Those guys from the Medicine Immortal Valley only know how to do useless things. Even if Qin Yun leaves our Immortal Weapon City, he will still go to the Sword Immortal Pavilion. When the time comes, do they want to force the Sword Immortal Pavilion to chase Qin Yun away? At least the people of the Sword Immortal Pavilion won't vote to send me away." Qin Yun looked at the few half-immortals and snorted lightly before walking into the Immortal Weapon Palace. The reason why he can continue to stay is because Bing Xing appeared. Therefore, he wants to properly thank Bing Xing. Qin Yun entered the Immortal Weapon Palace Hall, which is also the White Hall in the forbidden area of the Immortal Weapon Palace. Bing Xing is sitting beside the Immortal Pool. She is dressed in white and is absorbing the immortal energy from the Immortal Pool with her eyes closed. "Sister Bing Xing, I thought you would also support chasing me away." Qin Yun chuckled and said, "Thank you very much. You bastard, you've caused quite a bit of trouble." Bing Xing said, "When you go out, you better be careful. Don't die." "Thank you for Sister Bing Xing's concern." Qin Yun came to her side and said with a smile, as he looked at her ice-cold and beautiful face, "I'm not concerned about you. It's only because you can refine that 9-revolution immortal power pill that I'm keeping you here. No one likes a hateful person like you." Bing Xing opened her eyes, they are filled with coldness. "Humph, I'm a hateful person. Then I'll just go to the Sword Immortal Pavilion. There are gentle beautiful swordsmiths there." Qin Yun said unhappily, "Goodbye. Stop right there. Without my permission, you won't join the Sword Immortal Pavilion." Bing Xing said coldly, "I'm not going to join the Sword Immortal Pavilion either. I'm just going to find that beautiful swordsmiths to discuss and exchange pointers." Qin Yun curled his lips and said. Bing Xing suddenly became somewhat anxious and said, "I admit that you're not a hateful person, all right?" Qin Yun is secretly happy in his heart. "However," he said unhappily, "you're just saying it, you still hate me in your heart. Isn't it because of my previous life?" "Because of my previous life, you will always hate me." Bing Xing sighed softly and said with a calm tone, "If I really hated you, you would have died thousands of times already. You're just coaxing me to stay and help you refine the 9-revolution immortal power pill." Qin Yun said unhappily. Bing Xing also knows how to lie. She herself can't leave the Immortal Weapon Palace, but she said that she can kill her way out. Of course, her words also intimidated the Medicine Immortal Valley and the Azure Flame Immortal Mountain, making them not dare to act recklessly. Even Jian Shitian fled in fright. "Qin Yun, I will try to get along with you. You should understand me. Back then, I was truly harmed too miserably by your previous life." Bing Xing let out a long sigh. "If I didn't try to get along with you, I would have kicked you out of the Immortal Weapon Palace long ago." "All right, I'll believe you this once." Qin Yun saw that Bing Xing's attitude is not that cold anymore and felt that it's about time. Within Qin Yun's illusory space, Ling Yuner said with a charming smile, "Xiao Yun, how much this woman hates you is how much she loves you. Did you notice that when you said you were going to meet that beautiful swordsmith, She was a little jealous. Sister Bingxing, I have quite the fate with you in this life. First, I unsealed you from the immortal tomb, and then I met you here to refine the 9-revolution immortal power pill for you. I have to say, in the unseen world, I am repaying the debt of my previous life. Qin Yun said with a smile. If you awaken the memories of your previous life and you're still that slut, I'll kill you. Bingxing said with a serious expression. If your memories are going to awaken, you should think of a way to suppress them or even erase them. Those memories won't be of any help to you. Qin Yun also seriously considered this problem because he is not Yang Shiryu. Yang Shiryu's memories of her previous life are very useful to her. As for Qin Yun's memories of his previous life, they are more of a bastard. Let's go. I'll bring you to use the Sun-Moon Immortal Bed and let you enter the Sun-Moon space-time realm. Bingxing brought Qin Yun and jumped into the immortal pool and entered the white immortal origin at the bottom. There is a large Sun-Moon Immortal Bed here, emitting gold and silver light. Sister Bingxing, I heard that only the sect master can use this bed. Qin Yun went over and touched it and said, It's mine now. Bingxing said, When I entered the immortal weapon city, I also gave them the immortal cultivation technique, so they are very respectful to me. Also give this place to me. What do I have to do to use this bed? After Qin Yun sat on it, he only felt that it is soft and warm. It is very comfortable, but he did not have any other reaction. Lie down and relax your entire body, Bingxing said. Qin Yun quickly took off his shoes and lay down in the middle of the bed. Lie on the side, Bingxing said with a slight frown. Qin Yun is also somewhat excited because he is about to enter the Sun-Moon space-time realm. He quickly rolled to the side of the large bed. Soon after, Bingxing also lay down gracefully, but she is a bit far from Qin Yun. Chapter 642. The mystery of past lives. The Sun-Moon Immortal Bed was quite big. Could fit 3 or 4 people. Bingxing and Qin Yun are lying on top, maintaining a certain distance. Why are you so nervous? I won't kill you. Bingxing said, As for you, pay attention. Don't have any dirty thoughts or I'll send you to reincarnation. Qin Yun sensed Bingxing's ice-cold killing intent and immediately said, I will definitely not act recklessly. Bingxing cultivates ice-attributed power. The ice-cold power within her body will always be released along with her emotions. She was lying on the same bed as Qin Yun. She was also very vigilant, so her body released a very cold aura, causing Qin Yun to shiver. If not for the Sun-Moon Immortal Bed's warmth, he would have long been frozen stiff. Just as Qin Yun felt very cold, Bingxing suddenly grabbed his hand. What surprised Qin Yun is that Bingxing's lily-white hands are soft and warm. Being gently held by her, he felt an especially warm feeling in his heart, as though it was about to melt. Relax your entire body. I will use the Sun-Moon Immortal Bed with you. Bingxing held Qin Yun's hand in a very natural manner. After Qin Yun relaxed his body, he unknowingly became confused. Not long after, he opened his eyes and found himself lying on a hillside full of flowers and plants. He had arrived at a very beautiful hillside. Bingxing sat beside him with her eyes closed. She seemed to be cultivating. Our consciousness will stay here for a year. Have you thought about what you want to do for a year? Well, let me think about it. Qin Yun pondered. He asked Ling Yun'er, what should my consciousness do in this illusory space? Practice martial arts. You'd better learn more about the Extinction Dragon Palm. This is a very strong martial art, but it takes a lot of time to learn. Ling Yun'er said. Currently, Qin Yun can only unleash 3 Extinction Dragon Palms. It will be very difficult for him to go any further. Xiao Yun, with your current energy, you can support at least 5 consecutive palm strikes. Ling Yun'er said again. Qin Yun also knew that it was too difficult to learn. He needed constant practice. Previously, he was only able to gradually master it because he continuously fought with Bing Xing. Alright, I will specialize in Extinction Dragon Palm. Qin Yun wants to learn piercing Heavenly Finger. However, the Extinction Dragon Palm is very compatible with him because his main inner force mental cultivation method is the 9 Extinction Heart Sutra, allowing him to cultivate the power of the 9 Extinction. The Extinction Dragon Palm was executed through the 9 Extinction Primordial Force and was extremely powerful. On the side, Qin Yun constantly brandished his palm, seizing the time to practice the Extinction Dragon Palm. Bing Xing, who was in closed cultivation, also opened her eyes and looked over. She had fought with Qin Yun many times before, so she was very familiar with this overbearing and powerful palm technique. What palm technique is this? Bing Xing asked. Extinction Dragon Palm. Qin Yun said. Extinction Dragon Palm? It sounds quite familiar. Bing Xing suddenly frowned and fell into deep thought. She has a lot of memories, so she needed some time to gradually remember some things. Qin Yun's Extinction Dragon Palm came from the 9 Extinction Heart Sutra and was also obtained from the sun-suppressing divine arrow. Sister Bing Xing, this is a palm technique from the 9 Extinction Heart Sutra. Qin Yun added. 9 Extinction Heart Sutra? If I remember correctly, the original name of this cultivation technique should be the 9 Extinction Sacred Art. It is a very ancient sacred tier martial art. After Bing Xing remembered, she is extremely shocked. Is this true? Qin Yun also doesn't believe it. Sacred tier cultivation techniques are even more awesome than those immortal tier cultivation technique. Xiao Yun, this should be true. Ling Yun'er also suddenly said. Yun'er, don't you know everything? Why didn't you say it before? Qin Yun expressed his doubts towards Ling Yun'er. Ling Yun'er lightly snorted and said, My memories are very complicated. If I didn't deliberately mention it, how could I remember it? Bing Xing walked to Qin Yun's side and said, Since you can master a bit of this cultivation technique, you can be considered to have reached the entry level. However, you still have to be careful not to go berserk. I understand. Qin Yun nodded and said, I only obtained the first volume of this cultivation technique. As far as I know, your 9 Extinction Heart Sutra has upper, middle and lower volumes. The upper volume is in the Martial Desolate, the middle volume is in the Immortal Desolate and the lower volume is in the Sacred Desolate. Bing Xing said, Of course, this is something that happened many years ago. Maybe the upper, middle and lower volumes are in every great desolate. Qin Yun thought of Wei Zhongjing, the 9 Extinction Sect Master, who is bitterly searching for the other 9 Extinction Heart Sutra. Qin Yun, your Extinction Dragon Palm is very special. If you continuously strike out with 3 palms, the power of the 3 palms will instantly superimpose and become very strong. Bing Xing said again. She also experienced it in the Immortal Weapon Fantasy field. And Qin Yun nodded. The Extinction Dragon Palm has a total of 36 palms. I can only unleash 3 palms now. You chose to practice the Extinction Dragon Palm here. It is very correct. However, practicing alone is very slow. Bing Xing spoke and sent a palm strike towards Qin Yun. Qin Yun subconsciously dodged. He is secretly delighted. If Bing Xing were to practice with him, he would indeed improve very quickly. Bing Xing is an immortal, she can also guide Qin Yun in cultivation. She also has rich experience. Unknowingly, Qin Yun and Bing Xing spent a year in the Sun and Moon spacetime realm. Qin Yun suddenly felt that staying in the Sun and Moon spacetime realm with Bing Xing can also increase their understanding. He also realized that Bing Xing is indeed a kind-hearted woman. She must have been the naive and pure type, just like Lu Jingmeng and Qi Meiyan. We've been here for a year, but it seems like only half a day has passed outside. Bing Xing said with a frown. Could it be that when a man and a woman use the Sun and Moon immortal bed at the same time, they can increase the time in the Sun and Moon spacetime realm? So you're saying that we can continue here for another year? Qin Yun's consciousness stayed in the sun and moon spacetime realm for a year. He also found it inconceivable because it is as if he is in a very real world. His consciousness spent a year but his body only spent half a day. This is a very wonderful experience. Sister Bingxing, how much do you know about Jingmeng? Qin Yun asked. Jingmeng was discovered when I came to the Immortal Weapon City. At that time, she was playing with mud in the city. I could tell with a glance that she had an immortal body, so I brought her into the Immortal Weapon Palace. Bingxing said. In that case, it hasn't been long since Jingmeng entered the Immortal Weapon Palace. Qin Yun said in surprise. Yes, she is a very pure little girl. Furthermore, she possesses an immortal body. She will definitely be able to cultivate to immortal without any obstructions. Bingxing nodded. Sister Bingxing, Jingmeng has a totem inscription spirit. It has always been hidden in her body. I used a soul refining technique to help her awaken it. Qin Yun said. Really? Bingxing is very surprised. She is very clear about the importance of totem inscription spirit. Absolutely true. Qin Yun said. All right, I'll go talk to her and arrange her future cultivation direction. Bingxing's beautiful eyes flickered with extraordinary splendor. Qin Yun thought for a moment and decided to ask Bingxing some things. He said, Sister Bingxing, do you know the young palace master of the Guanghan Palace? Bingxing's expression slightly changed and said coldly, Qin Yun, have you awakened your memories? Qin Yun is shocked. Bingxing indeed knows Yang Shiyu. No. Qin Yun said. Is it no? Or is it gradually awakening? Bingxing said that as long as Qin Yun awakens his past life's memories, she would treat Qin Yun as a big swindler and kill him. I really don't. Qin Yun immediately waved his hand and said. Then how do you know the young palace master of the Guanghan Palace? Bingxing coldly snorted. Answer me honestly. Sister Bingxing. Tell me first, do you know her or not? Qin Yun said. I do, a woman who is in the same boat as me. She was miserably deceived by you, a bit worse than me. After Bingxing finished speaking, she said again. She was deceived by your past life. The reason why Qin Yun asked Bingxing is because he wants to know what kind of entanglement he had with Yang Shiyu's past life. Because when Yang Shiyu awakened her memories, she revealed a very strong hatred and killing intent towards him. How did you know of her existence? Are your memories gradually awakening? I advise you to suppress them. Bingxing said coldly. Because I've been to the Guanghan Palace, it's a long story. Qin Yun gave a simple explanation of how he passed through the ancient garden pass and entered the Guanghan Palace. Bingxing quietly listened to Qin Yun's narration. When she learned that Qin Yun brought back the Black Moon martial spirit from the Guanghan Palace, she guessed a few things. That young palace master is big sister Yang Shiyu. She treats me very well and I'm very grateful to her. Let me briefly talk about the matter between her and me. Qin Yun told Bingxing about what happened to him since he was young, how he met Yang Shiyu and how he helped Yang Shiyu. This would allow Bingxing to understand his current life better, so she wouldn't be so prejudiced against him. I really don't know if she owed you in her previous life, or if you owed her in your previous life. After Bingxing finished listening, she sighed with complicated emotions. Sister Bingxing, how did I deceive her in my previous life? Qin Yun said. She doesn't seem to want to talk about it. Since she doesn't want to say it, I won't tell you either. Let these memories be sealed in the past. Bingxing's hatred towards Qin Yun seems to have faded a lot, because Yang Shiyu hated Qin Yun even more than her, but she still let it go. Furthermore, their relationship is extremely good. Are you two friends? Qin Yun asked softly. And we are very good friends. Bingxing said. We can be considered friends of life and death. You lied to me and you lied to her. Then what about Emoji's daughter? I heard from Senior Wu that Emoji's daughter is sealed in the immortal graveyard. Qin Yun asked again. She's also my friend. It's very complicated, you don't need to know, Bing Xing said. Then did I deceive this Emoji's daughter in my previous life? Qin Yun asked again. You don't even have the chance, Bing Xing said with a sneer. She's not that easy to deceive. Furthermore, back then, she was the one who warned us to be on guard against you. Qin Yun is secretly astonished. Xie actually knew about his previous life, but in this life, she treated him extremely well. He doesn't know the reason. He didn't want to awaken his memories, but he also felt that his previous life was definitely not such an unbearable person. There must be some other secret. Don't think too much. This life of yours is a new beginning. Bing Xing stared into his eyes, interrupting his thoughts. Continue practicing the extinction dragon palm. You must become stronger. Because in the immortal desolate, as long as there are people, there will be your enemies. Chapter 643. 643 Chapter 643 Great Aunt. When Bing Xing saw Qin Yun's dumbfounded expression, she snorted and said, "Hurry up and go cultivate." Qin Yun has been bitterly training the extinction dragon palm, and can instantly execute 4 palms. Now he is practicing the 5th palm. Bing Xing did not accompany him to practice all day. She trained with him for a day and then let Qin Yun practice by himself for a few days. Even so, it is still a great help to Qin Yun. Qin Yun still feels a lot about Bing Xing. Sister Bing Xing, my consciousness can unleash the extinction dragon 4 palms in this sun and moon space-time realm. Then, can my body also unleash the 4 palms in reality? Qin Yun suddenly asked while training with Bing Xing. Even if you can't, it can still help you make great progress in this area. The sun and moon spacetime realm is mainly used to comprehend martial arts and practice martial skills. Bing Xing shouted softly, "Be serious!" Qin Yun immediately became serious and constantly executed extinction dragon 4 palms. Only when he is very familiar with the extinction dragon 4 palms can he gradually execute the 5th palm. Unknowingly, Qin Yun stayed here for another year. He is just a bit away from being able to execute the 5th palm. With his current cultivation, his limit is only 5 palms. At this time, Bing Xing also retracted her immortal power and stopped the sun and moon immortal bed from operating. Qin Yun also woke up from the bed and looked at Bing Xing, who is lying beside him. He felt as if he had a very long dream. This feeling is very wonderful. He and Bing Xing are still holding hands. Because he can feel the gentleness and warmth, he is reluctant to let go of Bing Xing's hand. Bing Xing quickly shook off Qin Yun's hand and said, "Just use it for 1 day a month. Using it too much is not good for your mind and other aspects." "Really?" Qin Yun curled his lips and said, "Do you think I'm lying to you?" Bing Xing got off the bed and said coldly, "You can simply understand the function of the sun and moon immortal bed to let you have a very long dream. If you stay in this dream for too long, you won't be able to distinguish between dream and reality. At that time, maybe you'll sleep in your dream forever and die. That's not possible, right? I can still distinguish between reality and dream." Qin Yun disapproved. "It's not like there are no sect masters who died on this sun and moon immortal bed," Bing Xing said. Qin Yun could not help but tremble. "Is this true? How did he die?" "If you enter too deep into the dream and become immersed in it, your soul will be lost in the dream and then be devoured by the sun-moon immortal bed." Bing Xing walked towards the light screen and said, "I'll send you up. It's time for you to refine the 9 revolutions immortal power pill for me." Qin Yun followed Bing Xing up and soaked in the immortal pool. With Ling Yun-er's help, he began refining the 9 revolutions immortal power pill. He needed 7 days to condense a single pellet. While condensing, He could also use 9 revolutions immortal power to temper his body. Bing Xing would also enter the fantasy field from time to time to train her disciples. In a blink of an eye, Qin Yun cultivated quietly for a few months. Medicine Immortal Valley, Azure Flame Immortal Mountain, and several aristocratic families learned that there is an immortal in the Immortal Weapon City, so they did not dare to come to cause trouble. During this period of time, Qin Yun often stayed in the Immortal Weapon Palace Hall and rarely entered the fantasy field. This made the disciples of the Immortal Weapon Palace feel that something was missing. They felt that if Qin Yun did not stir up trouble, their days would be dull and less exciting. In the past, not only the Immortal Weapon Palace, even the people of the Immortal Weapon City talked about Qin Yun's matters in the fantasy field all day long. And in the past few months, there has been no news of Qin Yun. This made people feel that Qin Yun is dead. Even Mu Feng did not see Qin Yun often anymore. Although Qin Yun is still an outer sect disciple, he is much more carefree than the main sect disciples. Because he was able to enter the Immortal Weapon Palace Hall to cultivate, even those half-immortals are somewhat jealous of him. Of course, those half-immortals can also absorb a large amount of immortal energy from the Tao immortal origin in their own places. It's just that it's not as dense as it is in the Immortal Weapon Palace Hall. Bao Changshuo is the most depressed. He originally thought that Bing Xing hated Qin Yun very much. Even those half-immortals are the same. Previously, they learned that this Grand Elder was provoked by Qin Yun in many ways in the fantasy field, and they were all very angry. Therefore, they did not have a good impression of Qin Yun. However, they never expected that this Grand Elder would treat Qin Yun very well. For the first time, she allowed him to enter the Immortal Weapon Palace Hall to cultivate. Lu Jingmeng also frequently entered the fantasy field. However, she did not participate in the battles. Instead, she stayed in the fantasy field's forbidden area to absorb the immortal energy used to cultivate mental power. She has an immortal body and can directly absorb immortal energy to cultivate. This is also one of the great benefits of an immortal body. From time to time, Qin Yun would enter the fantasy field to provoke Jian Rian from his room. For example, he would fight with Jian Rian a few times and then run away. Or he would deliberately run away and let Jian Rian chase after him, making Jian Rian angry. Of course, he also played around a few times and was killed by Jian Rian. In about a month, the martial arts tournament will begin. Qin Yun is also looking forward to the martial arts tournament. He just returned from the Immortal Weapon Palace Hall and was about to lie down on the bed and enter the fantasy field when he discovered some movement in the Immortal Graveyard diagram in his storage space. Qin Yun hurriedly took it out and dripped blood on it. Elder Sister Grand Preceptor. Qin Yun immediately shouted. Xiao Yun, how's the progress? Can you cultivate next to that immortal origin? Siekiru's gentle and refreshing voice sounded. The progress is quite smooth. Qin Yun said with a chuckle. You're really amazing. You can enter the core area of an immortal sect to cultivate. Siekiru praised and said with a smile. I thought you would have to struggle for decades before becoming a core disciple. Big Sister still underestimated you too much. That's because I met a special person. Qin Yun also decided to tell Siekiru about Bing Xing. Who is it? Siekiru asked. Sister Bing Xing. Qin Yun said. Siekiru immediately fell silent. After a long while, she said with a chuckle, You actually met her and you weren't killed by her. How rare. Elder Sister Grand Preceptor, I was an immortal king or something in my previous life, right? Qin Yun curled his lips and said, Did you already know? It's a long story. In short, you have to know that Big Sister has no ill intentions towards you. Siekiru said with a charming smile. Bing Xing didn't kill you. Furthermore, the fact that you two can meet again means that it is a continuation of fate. There's also Big Sister Yang. Qin Yun also told Siekiru about Yang Shiryu, the young palace master of the Guanghan Palace. After Xie Qiru finished listening, she fell silent again. She said with some surprise, "She's actually at the border area as well. Your entanglement is really deep. It's good that all of you have successfully reincarnated. Bing Xing, your big sister Yang, and I are all good friends. Don't mention my matter to them for the time being." Xie Qiru warned again. "Isn't it good to let them help you?" Qin Yun sighed. "No, they were implicated before and the consequences were very miserable. I don't want to trouble them any more." Xie Qiru faintly sighed. "Xiao Yun, it's enough as long as you help me." And Qin Yun hurriedly nodded and clenched his fists. He asked again, "Elder sister Grand Preceptor, was I a scoundrel in my previous life?" "Not really." Xie Qiru suddenly giggled. "In short, don't think too much about it. Let bygones be bygones." When Qin Yun heard Xie Qiru's laughter, he suddenly felt that she definitely knew something. "Well, as long as you are progressing smoothly, little Malian might come to find you in a while. She said that you are very famous in the proud star state and it will be very easy to find you." Xie Qiru said, "Xiao Yun, goodbye." Qin Yun looked at the immortal graveyard diagram in a daze. He suddenly felt that Xiao Yuan might also have a past life. He, Xiao Yuan, Xiao Yueme and Qi Meilian were all related to the immortal graveyard diagram when they were born. Omniscient Yun can you tell me what is the connection? Qin Yun asked. "Are you mocking me?" Ling Yun snorted and said, "I'm guessing that Xie Qiru is plotting something." Qin Yun knew that Ling Yun was not clear about this matter. Everything she knew was speculated by her based on Qin Yun's memories. Qin Yun did not plan to continue entangling himself with these matters. Living this life is the most important thing. Just as he was about to enter the fantasy field, Chu Binyu knocked on the door and said, "Qin Yun, come out quickly." Qin Yun quickly went to open the door and asked, "Villa Master, what's the matter?" "A woman came to find you and said that she is your aunt." Chu Binyu said, "This woman is very strong and she knows you very well." Qin Yun was stunned. When did he have an aunt? "She is very strong, where is it reflected?" Qin Yun thought for a moment and asked. "She killed the patriarch of the Yang family and is waiting for you with his head at Mu Feng's place. This matter has caused a sensation in many big cities. Those guys from the Yang family are all trying to find out who the murderer is." Chu Binyu's words made Qin Yun even more shocked. His aunt killed the patriarch of the Yang family. But he doesn't have an aunt. What does this woman look like? What characteristics does she have? Qin Yun asked again. Among the women who have a good relationship with him, there is no one who can kill the patriarch of the Yang family. Only Bing Xing is strong, but she can't leave the immortal weapon palace. She is wearing a mask. I can't see what she looks like. She must be very strong. Mu Feng is so scared that he is trembling. Fatty Mu is very courageous, but he is very afraid of that woman. Chu Binyu frowned and said, "Qin Yun, what is your background? There is actually such a powerful aunt." "In my memory there is no aunt." Qin Yun also looked depressed. "Villa Master, I don't want to see that woman. I'm worried that it's a trap. That woman said that if you don't appear, she will tear down Fatty Mu's divine inscription palace." Chu Binyu smiled and said, "If you really don't go, I will support you. In any case, the one being torn down is not my divine inscription palace." Qin Yun rolled his eyes at Chu Binyu and said, "If Fatty Mu's divine inscription palace is torn down, he will come and fight me to the death. What are you afraid of? With the Grand Elder protecting you, even the Elders Guild of the Divine Inscription Palace wouldn't dare to do anything to you." Chu Binyu laughed. "Let's go, I'll go meet that aunt." "Damn it, when did I have an aunt?" Qin Yun suddenly wondered if he had lost some memory. Chu Binyu took out the flying carriage and carried Qin Yun out of the gate. He flew towards the Eastern Inscription Palace. Mu Feng is walking back and forth at the entrance of the Eastern Inscription Palace. He seems to be very anxious. When he saw Chu Binyu's flying carriage arrive, he immediately heaved a sigh of relief. Chapter 644. 644 Chapter 644 Immortal Cultivation. Qin Yun was brought to a secret room by Mu Feng. After opening the door, he was pushed inside. Bang! The thick stone door of the secret room closed, giving Qin Yun a fright. After Qin Yun entered, he saw two people wearing white robes and ghost masks in the secret room. "Who are you people? How dare you pretend to be my great-aunt?" After Qin Yun entered, he boldly shouted, "You brat, you still haven't greeted your great-aunt and are still so rude. You deserve a lesson." A masked man walked over and said in a deep voice. That voice was low and hoarse, it was obvious that it was disguised. Qin Yun took a deep breath and tried to sense the auras of these two people. He could not sense them at all. "Who the hell are you?" "I, Qin Yun, don't have any great-aunt." Qin Yun coldly snorted, and then released a powerful mental origin power to probe further. Soon, he sensed the aura of the masked man who spoke just now. It was a rather familiar aura. The aura he sensed was very weak, and he had to use a very strong mental origin power to detect it. The masked man seemed to have noticed that Qin Yun was probing her. She immediately sneered and said, "You little demon, you want to probe this great-aunt? You are still inexperienced, ha ha ha." Qin Yun shot forward and tore off the mask. He saw an exquisite and beautiful, somewhat cute and mischievous face. "This person is Xiao Yueme." Qin Yun pinched the tender flesh on her face and scolded with a smile. "Great-aunt? Great-aunt your uncle, you little girl, you actually dare to pretend to be my great-aunt. Your guts are really fat." "Brother, I was wrong." Xiao Yueme immediately struggled free from Qin Yun's hand and said with a tender snort, "I just wanted to test you. Mengshu, stop pretending." Qin Yun looked at the other masked man. The masked man took off her mask, revealing a pretty and charming oval face. It was the petite and exquisite Hong Mengshu. "Sister Dreaming Pig, you really should have let him guess." Xiao Yueme lightly snorted. "Brother Yun, long time no see." Hong Mengshu covered her mouth and smiled. Qin Yun rubbed Xiao Yume's face and said with a grin, "You damned girl, are you messing around again? How dare you pretend to be my grand-aunt? Brother, you've stirred up more trouble than me. You've made a few aristocratic families and 2 immortal sects suffer." Xiao Yueme giggled and said, "As expected of my brother, the things he does are always so world-shaking." Qin Yun looked at Hong Mengshu and said with a smile, "Mengshu, did you follow Yueme everywhere to swindle people?" Xiao Yueme stuck out her tongue at Qin Yun and said, "We are not going around swindling people." Qin Yun doesn't believe Xiao Yueme's nonsense. He knows very well that this little girl's swindling skills are superb. She could always impersonate all kinds of rich young ladies. And this time, she actually pretended to be his grandaunt. He really didn't know whether to laugh or cry. "Yume, I want to walk around with my father. Let's meet again if fate wills it." Hong Mengshu smiled at Qin Yun. "Seeing that you're doing quite well, I feel much more at ease. Big Sister Dreaming Pig, I really can't bear to part with you." Xiao Yueme pouted and walked over, kissing Hong Mengshu's cheek. Hong Mengshu also kissed Qin Yun's face and said with a smile, "We will definitely meet again in the future." "Then goodbye, Big Sister Dreaming Pig." Xiao Yueme looked at Hong Mengshu reluctantly and walked out of the stone room. "Mengshu, wait!" Qin Yun shouted and took out 2 bone talismans. Hong Mengshu also stopped and asked with a smile, "Is there anything else?" Qin Yun held the 2 bone talismans and said, "Both of you drip blood on them. If you get close in the future, the bone talismans will also react." "Great." Xiao Yueme immediately went over to drip blood. After Hong Mengshu and Xiao Yueme completed the ceremony, they didn't seem to be that melancholy anymore. Because this meant that there was a high chance that they would meet again in the future. After Hong Mengshu left, Xiao Yuemei sighed melancholically. Big Sister Dreaming Pig and I have roamed the world for a long time. I really can't bear to part with her. Xiao Yuemei pouted. Oh right, I heard that you chopped off the head of the Yang family's patriarch? Is that so? Qin Yun recalled this matter. Here. Xiao Yuemei took out a large bag and handed it to Qin Yun. She giggled and said, "Inspect the goods." Qin Yun opened it and said in surprise, "How did you kill this guy?" Xiao Yuemei smiled and said, "This is where I am powerful." Little girl, hurry up and tell me. Qin Yun immediately pinched her face and said with a smile, "It was Big Sister Dreaming Pig's father who killed this guy." Xiao Yuemei said, "Uncle Hongying said that this is a gift for you. You helped Big Sister Dreaming Pig before, so he is grateful to you. Uncle Hongying has become a martial emperor, it's really strange. I haven't even thanked the father and daughter in person." Qin Yun shook his head and sighed. Xiao Yuemei said with a smile, "Brother, you are quite carefree in the Immortal Weapon City. Do you also want to become a disciple of the Immortal Weapon City?" Qin Yun asked with a smile. He could also tell that Xiao Yuemei was at the spirit martial realm. "I'm too lazy. I want to roam the world by myself," Xiao Yuemei said loudly with a heroic expression. She took out a storage bag and said, "Brother, here you go. These are the martial spirits I obtained." Xiao Yuemei previously obtained a soul-devouring spirit snake that could suck out other people's martial spirit. Qin Yun looked at the storage bag. There are more than 100 pearls inside. They are all purple gold in color. "Brother, don't worry. These martial spirits belong to some big villains. I, Xiao Yuemei, am a chivalrous heroine," Xiao Yuemei said proudly. "Yuemei, you have to be careful when you are alone in the future. Brother is really worried about you." Qin Yun sighed softly and looked at Xiao Yuemei lovingly. He gently caressed her beautiful face. "I know." Xiao Yuemei took out a small mirror and said with a smile, "Brother, I heard that you obtained a wildfire inscription spirit. I want to try and see if I can use my mirror to copy an inscription spirit." "Alright, then give it a try." Qin Yun smiled, but when he saw Xiao Yuemei's mirror turn black, he immediately stopped smiling. "Your mirror martial spirit has turned black?" he said in surprise. I copied a lot of martial spirits and it evolved on its own. It's really magical. I can now use 4 martial spirits at the same time," Xiao Yuemei said proudly. Xiao Yuemei used her mirror to randomly shine on Qin Yun's body. Suddenly, she shouted happily, "It's a success! I've copied your wildfire inscription spirit." Qin Yun was also pleasantly surprised. Then, he took out the mental resonance Xian pen and said with a smile, "Yuemei, there's also an inscription spirit inside. Give it a try and see if you can succeed." After Xiao Yuemei took a look, she said with a sweet smile, "Done! Awesome!" Qin Yun scratched her cute nose. "Brother, among the friends you know, which one of them has a special martial spirit? Let me take a look." Xiao Yuemei chuckled. "Yes." Qin Yun thought for a moment and planned to let Xiao Yuemei copy Lu Jingming's totem inscription spirit. Previously, Feng Honglan's martial spirit was taken away. However, Xiao Yuemei had copied Feng Honglan's martial spirit. Therefore, Qin Yun successfully condensed a new red orchid martial spirit through Xiao Yuemei's mirror. He wanted to see if he could get Lu Jingming's totem inscription spirit out. If he succeeded, it would mean that he would have a large number of inscription spirits. Just thinking about it made him excited. Qin Yun had the jade token given to him by the Grand Elder, so he could easily bring Xiao Yuemei into the Immortal Weapon Palace. When Mu Feng saw Qin Yun take away the mysterious Grandaunt, he felt a lot more at ease. He did not know that the Grandaunt was that damned girl, Xiao Yuemei. Inside Xiao Yuemei's mirror, there are a large number of martial spirit. There are all kinds of strange ones. It is a great treasure trove of martial spirit. In the past few months, there has been no news of Qin Yun. It also caused Qin Yun to gradually fade from people's memories. However, in the past few days, because the head of the Yang family's patriarch was chopped off, everyone once again discussed Qin Yun. Qin Yun is in his own residence in the Immortal Weapon Palace. Chu Binyu is also here. Furthermore, he is extremely worried because he is also somewhat afraid of Qin Yun's grandaunt. He is unable to detect her aura. Furthermore, Mu Feng is also extremely afraid of this grandaunt. Xiao Yuemei has the head of the Yang family's patriarch in her hands. As for Mu Feng and Chu Binyu, they were unable to detect her cultivation. They thought that she was someone at the level of Wu Mingxiu. After Qin Yun brought Xiao Yuemei back to the house, he took off her mask. When Chu Binyu saw that exquisite and beautiful face, he could not help but be stunned. That is because Qin Yun's grandaunt is simply too young. Senior, how did you kill the Yang family's patriarch? Chu Binyu asked. Well, no comment about this. Xiao Yuemei pretended to be cold and aloof as she smiled faintly. If you want to say it, there's nothing to say. After all, that guy is too weak. Killing him is like killing a chicken. Senior is truly amazing. It is said that the corpse of the Yang family's patriarch was found in their family mansion. How did you get in? Chu Binyu is very curious about this. The Yang family is heavily guarded, and they also have half-immortal experts. Divine ability, omnipotent. Xiao Yuemei smiled proudly. Junior, you are still bitterly cultivating, right? If you successfully step into the immortal Tao, you should properly comprehend the 9 suns. Chu Binyu was taken aback and quickly asked, Senior, please give me some pointers. Qin Yun couldn't help but want to expose this little girl. If she doesn't say it, then forget it. However, he still quickly signaled Xiao Yuemei with his eyes. Don't go too far. There are 2 kinds of immortals. They are born with immortal body and are born in the immortal desolate. They will definitely become immortals. The other kind is that mortals go against the heavens, practice martial arts and use martial arts to step into the immortal Tao. Xiao Yuemei has the appearance of an expert and spoke clearly and logically. Qin Yun also almost believed it. Chu Binyu listened and nodded repeatedly. He is extremely serious. Xiao Yuemei coughed twice and continued. The path of immortal and martial Tao is simple. And the most important thing for mortals to cultivate is virtue. It is difficult for a person without virtue to become an immortal. A person without virtue can only become a devil. Senior, how do I cultivate virtue? Chu Binyu quickly asked. Qin Yun is also taken aback, because Ling Yun also said the same thing. He can't help but look at this little girl Xiao Yuemei in a new light. What she said is very likely to be true. Is there a need to ask? Of course it is to do good deeds and accumulate virtue. Xiao Yuemei laughed and said, Junior, you have to ask yourself in your life, have you done more evil or have you done more good deeds? Doing many evil deeds is immoral, it is difficult to cross the heavenly tribulation, and it is impossible to become an immortal. Chu Binyu suddenly realized and nodded repeatedly. Thank you, Senior, for your guidance, I am very grateful. After saying that, Chu Binyu quickly left. Chapter 645. Yuemei's secret. After Xiao Yuemei entered Qin Yun's room, she lay on the comfortable bed and took out a large roasted beast leg to eat. Get up and eat, how bad is it to lie down and eat? Also, don't dirty my bed. Qin Yun scolded with a smile. Yuemei, you are really becoming less and less like a woman. Xiao Yuemei savagely bit the roasted meat and said with a smile, Brother, did I act well just now? The villa master of Saber Sword Villa was fooled by me. Where did you hear all those great principles? Qin Yun asked. I have walked a lot of roads, naturally I know a lot. Xiao Yuemei deliberately used a deep tone to speak, as if she is an expert. But her table manners betrayed her, she did not look like an expert at all. Ling Yuner said, Xiao Yun, this little wild girl must be in frequent contact with Big Sister Imperial Tutor. Maybe she also has a past life and knows a lot of things. Maybe. She trusts me so much but she didn't tell me, there must be a reason for her. Qin Yun also felt that Xiao Yuemei is not simple. Xiao Yuemei said as she ate, "Brother, what kind of martial spirit are you planning to make for me to copy? Do you have a phoenix martial spirit?" Qin Yun asked. "No, I've been looking for it. Where can I find it?" Xiao Yuemei suddenly sat up from the bed and asked. Qin Yun came to the bed to enter the fantasy field, then lay down and said, "Wait for me, I'll call that person over." Qin Yun entered the fantasy field and contacted Long Xiaofeng. Long Xiaofeng has always been in the fantasy field. In her words, in the fantasy field, she can be in a very perfect environment to properly comprehend totem martial arts. Qin Yun quickly found Long Xiaofeng and asked her to come. When Xiao Yuemei saw Qin Yun, she said, "Is this the thing to enter the fantasy field? I want to go in and take a look too." "Don't act recklessly," Qin Yun quickly warned. "I know." Xiao Yuemei curled her lips. A moment later, Long Xiaofeng, dressed in black and wearing a mask, also arrived. As soon as she arrived, she saw a delicate beauty lying on Qin Yun's bed. "This is my sister," Qin Yun said. "Your sister?" Long Xiaofeng looked at Xiao Yuemei and said in amazement. "Hello, big sister." Xiao Yuemei promptly sat up and politely greeted. "Hello, I am Long Xiaofeng, your brother's friend," Long Xiaofeng said with smile. "Long family people?" Xiao Yuemei is somewhat amazed. Qin Yun said, "Yuemei, she has dragon and phoenix martial spirit." Xiao Yuemei took out her mirror, walked over and asked Long Xiaofeng to cooperate with her. Long Xiaofeng also doesn't know what Xiao Yuemei is doing, she cooperated with her and relaxed. Then she felt her dragon and phoenix martial spirit being touched just now. Done. After Xiao Yuemei finished, she happily smiled and said, "Long Xiaofeng also did not ask much, she has complete trust in Qin Yun. After all, Qin Yun helped her obtain the dragon totem." Xiaofeng, the martial arts tournament is about to begin. Have you comprehended any dragon totem martial arts during this period of time? Qin Yun asked. Long Xiaofeng shook her head. After Xiao Yuemei heard this, she said with smile, "It's very easy to comprehend totem martial arts, as long as the totem martial spirit fuses with your soul as much as possible. If your totem approves of you, it will naturally pass down the totem martial arts to you." Really? Long Xiaofeng is somewhat astonished. She never expected that Qin Yun's little sister would actually understand this. Of course it's true. However, the totem martial arts obtained by different people are different as well. Xiao Yuemei giggled and said, "I also have dragon bloodline and dragon martial spirit. The dragon totem martial arts I obtained are rather ordinary." Long Xiaofeng is even more astonished. However, thinking that it is Qin Yun's little sister, she felt relieved. Because Qin Yun is a monster, his little sister is definitely not much different. "Xiaofeng, go back and give it a try," Qin Yun said. And Long Xiaofeng promptly left. Xiao Yuemei said, "Brother, I'm also preparing to leave. Where are you going? Can't you stay here for a few more days and accompany me?" Qin Yun asked. Alright. I will accompany you for a few more days." Xiao Yuemei is very happy that she obtained the phoenix martial spirit. "Yuemei, do you want a dragon totem? I can carve it for you," Qin Yun asked. "No need, I have my own," Xiao Yuemei said with charming smile. "Brother, bring me here to play for a few days. I want to stroll around the interior of the Immortal Weapon Palace. This way, I can go out and brag about it later." Qin Yun said with smile, "No problem. However, I will first take you to duplicate a divine ability martial spirit and an inscription spirit." "Really? That's great." When Xiao Yuemei heard about divine ability martial spirit, she immediately became excited. After Xiao Yuemei put on the mask, she followed Qin Yun and strolled around the Immortal Weapon Palace. Qin Yun brought Xiao Yuemei towards the Immortal Weapon Palace hall. Along the way, Xiao Yuemei looked all around. Looking at the scenery inside, she is very curious. That is the Immortal Weapon Palace hall. Qin Yun brought Xiao Yuemei to the forbidden area and pointed at the White Palace. Brother, you are truly awesome. You can actually come to this kind of place, Xiao Yuemei said in admiration. That's right. Qin Yun smiled proudly and said, I'll go in and ask the Grand Elder inside if I can bring you in. Grand Elder, is that the immortal? Xiao Yuemei giggled and said, I heard she is a woman. Brother, you are really something. You actually managed to make the immortal fall head over heels for you. Don't talk nonsense. That Grand Elder and I have some conflicts. Qin Yun brought Xiao Yuemei to the entrance of the palace and then walked in himself. Bing Xing is inside and she is tutoring Lu Jingmeng in cultivation. Brother Yun. Lu Jingmeng is practicing a set of sword technique. When she saw Qin Yun arrive, she shouted happily. Qin Yun walked over with a smile and greeted Bing Xing. Qin Yun, who is your great aunt? She can actually easily enter the Yang family and take away the head of the Yang family patriarch. Although Bing Xing rarely goes out, she knows a lot of things. Qin Yun suspects that Bing Xing has puppets walking around outside. That's why she knows a lot of things. That's not my great aunt. It's my wife's little sister. Qin Yun said, she's outside the door. I want to bring her in, is that okay? Brother Yun, your wife's little sister is too awesome. Lu Jingming said in surprise. Of course, she's about the same age as you. She's a very mischievous little girl, Qin Yun said with a smile. Bing Xing already knew that Qin Yun has a wife, and she always wanted to know what kind of person Qin Yun's wife is. Let her in, Bing Xing said. Qin Yun promptly walked out and called Xiao Yuemei in. As soon as Xiao Yuemei entered, she took off her mask. After she took off her mask, she saw Bing Xing walking over. After seeing Bing Xing, Xiao Yuemei is stunned. Bing Xing is also stunned. You know each other? Qin Yun said with a frown. Yes. I don't know, Xiao Yuemei and Bing Xing said at the same time. Xiao Yuemei said she knows and Bing Xing said she doesn't. Then do you know each other or not? Previously, Qin Yun was only guessing that Xiao Yuemei had a past life. But now, it seems like it is true. This further confirms Ling Yun Er's guess that Xie Qiru is plotting something. Furthermore, it seems like she can control reincarnation or something. Don't ask too much, Bing Xing said coldly. Xiao Yuemei did not say much. Instead, she asked with a charming smile. Brother, you said you want me to take a look at a better martial spirit. Where is it? At this time, she also saw Lu Jingmeng and ran over while skipping and skipping. What a beautiful little girl. Xiao Yuemei also tenderly caressed Lu Jingmeng's cute face. Little sister, are you Brother Yun's wife's little sister? You are also very beautiful, Lu Jingmeng said sweetly. Apparently she also likes Xiao Yuemei very much. Qin Yun looked at Bing Xing and asked in low voice, Sister Bing Xing, do you know Yuemei? She has a past life, right? And it seems like there are many secrets hidden in the border region. Bing Xing slightly frowned. Don't worry, although this woman is very cunning, her heart is still very good. After Xiao Yuemei took out her mirror martial spirit, Bing Xing is also slightly alarmed. She said in low voice, her martial spirit is exactly the same as her past life. Qin Yun is completely baffled. Xiao Yuemei also has a past life. This is something he is unable to accept for a moment. Yang Shiyu, Xie Qiru, Xiao Yuemei and even Xiao Yuelan and Qi Meilian all have past lives and have awakened their memories. And only he has not awakened his memories. He has a feeling that something is missing. Xiao Yuemei copied Lu Jingming's divine ability, martial spirit and totem inscription spirit. She is also very good to Lu Jingming. She gave her many small gifts, many delicious food, as well as all kinds of beautiful stones and ornament. Qin Yun also plans to find an opportunity to ask Xiao Yuemei some things. Bing Xing and Qin Yun walked over. Xiao Yuemei shook the small mirror. She is very happy. Sister Bing Xing, let me take a look at your martial spirit, Xiao Yuemei said with charming smile. Do as you wish, Bing Xing said indifferently. Xiao Yuemei placed the mirror on Bing Xing's abdomen and quickly finished. Let me see Sister Bing Xing's martial spirit. Qin Yun immediately moved his head closer. I won't. Xiao Yuemei mischievously smiled and said, otherwise, Sister Bing Xing will blame me. Bing Xing did not say anything. Her attitude towards Xiao Yuemei is very indifferent. Qin Yun also can't see anything. In the next 2 to 3 days, Xiao Yuemei and Lu Jingmeng played here. Qin Yun and Bing Xing did not stop them. Lu Jingmeng made another friend, so she is also very happy. Brother, it's time for me to leave. I'll come back when I have time in the future. Xiao Yuemei felt that it is about time and bid farewell to Lu Jingmeng. She even kissed her cute face. Lu Jingmeng is somewhat reluctant to part and bid farewell to Xiao Yuemei. Bing Xing and Lu Jingmeng sent Qin Yun and Xiao Yuemei to the door. Qin Yun pulled Xiao Yuemei and quickly left the Immortal Weapon Palace Hall and returned to his room. Yuemei, you have a past life and you also know that I was an immortal king in my past life, right? Qin Yun asked with serious expression. Brother, your memories have not awakened, just let them sleep forever. Xiao Yuemei said with charming smile. Don't think too much, I will always be your little sister. Chapter 646. Devil Martial Island. Qin Yun is alarmed because Yang Shiryu, Xie Qiru and Xiao Yuemei do not wish for him to awaken his past life's memories. Even Bing Xing is the same. Xiao Yuemei saw Qin Yun pondering and shouted softly, Brother, I'm leaving. And I'll send you out. Qin Yun sighed. Xiao Yuemei put on her mask and followed Qin Yun out of the Immortal Weapon Palace. Be careful on the road. Qin Yun waved his hand at Xiao Yuemei. He originally wanted to keep Xiao Yuemei and then refine the inscription spirit together. However, Xiao Yuemei did not want to stay any longer. Clearly, she was avoiding him and did not want to tell him too much. Qin Yun returned to his room and felt very puzzled. He said to Ling Yun'er, Yun'er, I remember you saying that the memories of my past life are in my soul. However, because my soul is not strong enough, I can't awaken them, right? And Ling Yun'er said, Indeed, because there are many, many memories sealed in your soul. With your current soul, you are unable to withstand the sudden appearance of a large number of memories. However, Yuemei can. Qin Yun said. When Big Sister Yang awakened, she fused with the Black Moon martial spirit. But Yuemei shouldn't have, right? I don't know about that. Ling Yun'er also felt that these matters are very strange. She pondered and said, Xiao Yun, they should be joining forces. For the time being, they don't want you to know about your past life. There must be a reason behind this. Was I really a bad guy in my past life? But Yuemei was very good to me. She definitely knew what kind of person I was in my past life. Qin Yun laid on the bed and kept thinking about this matter. Yuemei only awakened her memories later, then she accepted you. After all, you treated her very well in this life. Ling Yun'er told Qin Yun her analysis. Qin Yun also knew that if he continued to dwell on this issue, it would definitely cause his imagination to run wild and he would not be able to resist unsealing his memories. Yun'er, do you think it's necessary for me to unseal those memories in the future? Qin Yun asked. I think it's better not to unseal them. Everything will have to wait until you enter the Immortal Desolate. Ling Yun'er said, According to my judgment, Yuemei, Yang and Yuelan's past lives might have had enmity with you. As their memories of their past lives gradually awaken, they also look at you in a new light. Maybe it's mainly because they think that you're a really good person in this life, so they don't want you to unseal the memories of your previous life. They're worried that you'll become the guy from your previous life, and then they'll lose you. Qin Yun thought about it and found it reasonable. Maybe I'm thinking too much. In short, the most important thing for me now is to become stronger and enter the immortal desolate as soon as possible. All the problems will be easily solved, Qin Yun firmly said. If his words were heard by others, they would definitely be laughed at. Because to enter the immortal desolate, one must become an immortal. Of course, half-immortals can also go. However, they need to go through that heaven to enter the immortal desolate. It is extremely difficult. 9 out of 10 people will die after entering. Qin Yun is confident that he can cultivate an immortal body. He has the Nether Sun martial spirit. He feels that becoming a half-immortal is not very difficult. No wonder that girl Yueme can speak such profound words and even subdue the villa master. Over the past few days, Qin Yun can sense that Xiao Yueme is still the same Xiao Yueme. She has not changed at all due to awakening her past life's memories. This way, he can be even more at ease with Xiao Yueme. Previously, he was worried that something would happen to Xiao Yueme while she was roaming outside. But now, Xiao Yueme has the memories of her past life, so nothing will happen to her. The martial arts tournament is getting closer and closer. There are only 20 days left before it starts. Today, Qin Yun was summoned to the Lawkeeper Hall. Long Xiaofeng, Jian Rian and a youth from the Yu family are with him. The youth from the Yu family is called Yu Bufeng. He is ranked 4th. He has an ordinary appearance and doesn't speak much. However, he is very polite. When he saw Qin Yun and company, he politely smiled. The top 4 of the martial Dao list are all here. In a large hall of the Lawkeeper Hall, Granny Ma, wearing a black robe, slowly walked in. Granny Ma, why did only 4 people from the top 10 of the martial Dao list come? Jian Ruyan asked curiously. The rules of the martial arts tournament suddenly changed. 4 spots for each of the 5 great immortals. Moon Sect, 5 great star sects and 5 great clans each have 2 spots. The other miscellaneous sects and families only have 1 spot. In addition, there is also a spot for idlers. Idlers will be able to obtain the final victory through a martial arts competition among the common people. Granny Ma's words also surprised Qin Yun and company. After the rules were changed, it meant that there would be a lot fewer people in the martial arts tournament. Qin Yun secretly rejoiced that his points were always at the front. If he wasn't in the top 4, he would have been eliminated. Granny Ma, is Saber Sword Villa considered a miscellaneous sect? Qin Yun asked. Yes. Granny Ma said ruthlessly. Jian Rian smiled and said, Ji family, Dongfang family, these 10 families can also be considered miscellaneous families. Long Xiaofeng asked, Granny Ma, are we going to decide on the spots now? Isn't there still 20 days before it starts? The spots have already been determined and the martial arts tournament is about to begin. 20 days from now, the competition will officially start and the one starting tomorrow will be unofficial. Granny Ma said. Qin Yun and company looked at each other in dismay. They are all bewildered. What is an unofficial martial arts tournament? Jian Rian asked. The martial arts tournament is a competition between outstanding disciples from all over the world. In the end, only 16 people will be able to participate in the official martial arts tournament and compete on the stage. Granny Ma said. Therefore, before that, there will be an unofficial selection, which is to select 16 disciples. Granny Ma's expression was solemn as she said, The selection process is very dangerous and it is easy to lose your life. Therefore, when you participate in the unofficial martial arts tournament, the most important thing is to survive. It is actually very dangerous. Qin Yun is not afraid, he is just curious. It starts tomorrow? What are the specifics? Jian Ruyan looked rather excited. The specific content is to throw you into the Devil Marshal Island. On the Devil Marshal Island, there are 16 powerful Devil Beast Kings. The disciple who kills the Devil Beast King and obtains the crystal core will be able to participate in the official martial arts tournament. Granny Ma said. This is simple. Qin Yun felt that there was nothing difficult about it. Granny Ma shook her head and said, It's not simple at all. There are a large number of powerful devil people on the Devil Marshal Island, and all kinds of powerful evil spirits are imprisoned there. Furthermore, they are all gathered in groups. You can't use weapons on the Devil Marshal Island, because the barrier around the Devil Marshal Island was jointly set up by the elders of the Divine Inscription Palace. As long as there are all kinds of inscription weapons and tools that release power, they will be sucked away by the barrier. Long Xiaofeng said worriedly, How strong are the evil spirits on the Devil Marshal Island? The evil spirits imprisoned on the Devil Marshal Island are at the Spirit Martial Realm stage, and the strength of the 16 Devil Beast Kings should be equivalent to the Xian Martial Realm. Granny Ma's words caused Qin Yun's expression to turn grave. Jian Rian said with a very happy smile, I can release 2 swords, there shouldn't be any problem, right? A sword cultivator's origin sword is not a real weapon, it can be used. Granny Ma said. Qin Yun's face is filled with displeasure. In this way, Jian Rian will definitely be able to relax. She has 2 swords. Heroine, can you lend me a sword? Qin Yun asked shamelessly. Wishful thinking. Jian Rian said. Even if I lend it to you, my sword will not follow you. Qin Yun curled his lips and said, I don't have a weapon, but I can still get a Devil Beast King crystal core. Back then, I was able to kill Jian Nanhu with my bare hands. I don't have a weapon, but I'm still stronger than you. In the past few months, my cultivation has also increased by a lot. You are no longer my match. In the fantasy field, Jian Rian is also desperately cultivating to increase her strength. This is also what Bing Xing told Qin Yun because Jian Rian has always wanted to defeat Qin Yun. Then let's enter the final competition together. If there's a chance, let's have a good competition, Qin Yun said with a smile. Don't think that you're the only one cultivating and I'm not cultivating? While you're improving, I'm also improving. Qin Yun, I'm worried that you won't be able to get the Devil Beast King crystal core. Jian Rian said with a smile. Don't worry, when the time comes, even if you can't get it, I will help you get the Devil Beast King crystal core and let you enter the final competition. After that, I will defeat you in front of many people. Qin Yun chuckled and said, How about this, after you go in, help me get a Devil Beast King crystal core. I'm really worried that I won't be able to get one. You wish. Jian Rian shouted. She knew that Qin Yun was scheming against her again. Granny Ma said, All right, when you enter the Devil Marshal Island, you must be careful of the other disciples. Inside, killing each other is allowed. Jian Rian said with a frown, Qin Yun, you're in big trouble. Medicine Immortal Valley, Long Family, Yang Family, Tian Family, Azure Flame Immortal Mountain, and even you family, they might all want to deal with you. Oh right, there's also the G family, that trash family. It seems that the disciples of the 5 great star sects have also been killed by Qin Yun. Female hero, don't worry about me. I can even kill Jian Nanhu. If those guys want to court death, I don't mind sending them off. Qin Yun said with a smile. He does not look worried at all. Granny Ma took out a flying carriage and let Qin Yun and company board. Rian, Qin Yun. The 2 of you are relatively strong. It's best if the 4 of you move together. If possible, help each other and hunt for the Devil Beast King crystal core. Granny Ma said, This kind of thing is also allowed. It's just that one person is not allowed to have more than 1 Devil Beast King crystal core. Female hero, after we enter, I will listen to your orders. Qin Yun cupped his fists towards Jian Rian. You're really polite. Don't worry, I will definitely protect you a bit. Although your enemies are everywhere in the world, my name, Jian Ruyan, is enough to intimidate that group of trash. Jian Ruyan also said in a very heroic manner. The two of them are only bickering with each other, there is no deep hatred between them. Chapter 647. Devil Army. Long Xiaofeng promptly nodded. She also found it funny in her heart. Because her relationship with Qin Yun can be considered to be very good and they can trust each other. Of course, their relationship must continue to be kept secret. Because Long Xiaofeng wants to provide Qin Yun with information about the Long family so that he can understand the Long family's movements. Through Long Xiaofeng, Qin Yun learned that there is another dragon in the Long family. Moreover, it is a genuine purebred dragon. It is also very strong. That is the next meal for Yang Yang, the ninth heaven Xian sparrow, after she wakes up. Devil Marshall Island is located at the border between Devil Desolate and Spirit Desolate. It is said that Demon Moon Island is also nearby. There are several Devil Marshall Island and each one is different. The weakest one is imprisoning some Spirit Marshall Realm evil spirit. The reason why these evil spirits were imprisoned here is because they were punished. They have some background, so they were not killed. They were left here and allowed to continue living. Over time, those powerful sects also regarded this place as a sacred trial ground for their disciples. They can undergo many kinds of training. Qin Yun is secretly looking forward to reaching Devil Marshall Island as soon as possible. He wants to know who the Demon Moon Island sent. If it is someone he knows, he can meet them. After flying for a day, Qin Yun and company saw the huge island filled with forest from the sky. The environment of this Devil Marshall Island is pretty good. Qin Yun said with a smile. There are so many devils inside, but it hasn't been destroyed. Those villains don't often fight inside. They all form gangs and have their own territory. If they fight, they will destroy their own territory, so they won't fight casually. Granny Ma said, "You can go in now. Be careful not to use weapons. If they are sucked away, you won't be able to get them back." Long Xiaofeng asked, "Do those devils also have no weapons?" "And they also don't have any weapons. They are all barehanded. There might be some weapons made of beast bones. As long as they don't have any runes, they won't be sucked away." Granny Ma looked at Qin Yun and said, "If you have a lot of tricks, feel free to use them." Qin Yun chuckled and said, "Since Granny Ma said so, I won't be polite when the time comes." Jian Ruyan suddenly wished that Qin Yun had more tricks up his sleeves. That way, she wouldn't have to work so hard to deal with those devils. "Let's go!" Granny Ma shouted. "This Devil Marshall Island has a barrier restriction. With my cultivation, I can't enter. Only those below the Xian Marshall Realm can enter." After Qin Yun and company jumped down from the sky, they stood on the thick branches of a 100-meter-tall tree. "Female hero, you are the captain, you command, I will listen to you," Qin Yun said. This is also to avoid hurting the harmony. "Alright, let's first discuss how to find the Devil Beast King," Jian Ruyan said. Qin Yun hurriedly took out a devil-chasing talisman, but just as he activated it, it suddenly disappeared. "I can't use talismans, I forgot." Qin Yun curled his lips. "That's a devil-chasing talisman. It can be used to find nearby magical beasts or something." "It won't work." Jian Ruyan also felt somewhat regretful, otherwise it would have been much easier. At the same time, she was secretly amazed by Qin Yun's methods. If there were no restrictions, Qin Yun could walk sideways in this place. The taciturn Yu Bufeng suddenly said, "I have a way, but I have to wait until night time. Moreover, there must be moonlight. I can use the moonlight to shine down and the fluctuations produced to determine the powerful monsters hiding nearby." "That's good." Jian Ruyan nodded and said with a smile, "You're much more useful than Qin Yun and Long Xiaofeng." Qin Yun curled his lips and said, "Female hero, don't look down on me." Long Xiaofeng lightly snorted and said, Jian Rian, my strength is not weaker than yours. When Qin Yun heard Long Xiaofeng's words, he secretly rejoiced. For Long Xiaofeng to say such words, it is obvious that she has comprehended a totem martial art. Yo, Long Xiaofeng, you've fought with me several times before, but I've never seen you win against me. After not fighting for a while, you're already so confident? Jian Rian said with a smile. In that case, I'm actually looking forward to fighting with you. Qin Yun is also looking forward to it. If Jian Rian really loses to Long Xiaofeng, maybe she will cry until her nose becomes crooked. Are we going to wait until night to take action? Qin Yun looked at the sky and said. What else? Jian Rian sat down. I hope we don't run into Brother Hu and the others. If Brother Hu can't help but fight with you here, it will definitely be a waste of time. I'm not afraid. Even if I meet him, I can quickly kill him. During this period of time, Qin Yun has been cultivating in the Immortal Weapon Palace Hall all day. He used the 9 revolutions immortal power to temper his body. Being able to use the Sun and Moon immortal bed allowed his mastery of martial skills to become even more exquisite. For example, he can unleash 5 palm strikes of the Extinction Dragon Palm. He has also mastered the second finger technique of the mountain-piercing finger. Furthermore, he has mastered a bit of the tree totem martial art. Jian Rian lightly snorted and said, Qin Yun, you're really confident. I heard that Brother Hu's progress is very great. With his seriousness and hard work, he will definitely be able to improve very quickly. Time is too short. It's only been a few months and he wants to get rid of his dependence on that sword? Qin Yun shook his head. Qin Yun, you don't know this, but Brother Hu can cultivate the origin sword. This is not a difficult matter for him. Jian Rian said with a smile. Do you really think that he will completely abandon his weapon? Qin Yun felt that even if Jian Nanhu cultivated the origin sword, he would still not be his match. Shoo, someone's coming. Qin Yun suddenly sensed a trace of aura nearby. After Jian Rian heard this, she immediately became vigilant. The first one to discover something approaching was Qin Yun. It can be seen that Qin Yun is much sharper than the others. Even Jian Rian did not discover it as early as Qin Yun. Now, Jian Rian also knows that her mental power is indeed inferior to Qin Yun's. Quite a few fellows have come. Qin Yun transmitted his voice to Jian Rian. Judging from their aura, these fellows are all devils on the island. The so-called devils are devil cultivators. Because of a mistake in cultivation, they went crazy and then went on a killing spree. They captured people and threw them into this place. Many devil cultivators also have powerful devil sects behind them. Therefore, after they were captured, others did not dare to kill them and threw them into this place. After a period of time, the berserk devils will also recover. Therefore, the devils on the Devil Martial Island can also gather together and form small group. Qin Yun and company are on a big tree, hiding in some leaves. Qin Yun, how did these devils discover us? Jian Rian transmitted her voice to Qin Yun. She is somewhat puzzled because they did not release their aura. I don't know. Maybe there are some guys with very strong perception among them. Qin Yun said. In short, they discovered that something is here, that's why they came over. At this moment, Long Xiaofeng and Yu Bufeng also sensed the approaching devils. These devils came from all directions. What caused Qin Yun and company to be alarmed is that these devils all cultivate devil arts. Their control over power is generally weaker. But now, this group of devils that are quietly surrounding them have very weak auras and have hidden themselves extremely well. Xiu xiu xiu. Suddenly, many arrows flew over. They've locked onto us. Qin Yun said in low voice. Defend, kill a way out. Without clearly understanding their situation, let's not fight head-on. Although Jian Rian loves to fight, she also knows that the situation is tense. If they don't know the specific situation of this group of devils and stayed behind to fight, it would be quite dangerous. Qin Yun is secretly alarmed. The bows and arrows produced by the devils are very good and have quite a penetrating power. After the big tree they are on was hit by the arrows, it was penetrated. The most terrifying thing is that the arrows can explode. It's beast oil. Qin Yun shouted in alarm. Their bows and arrows have been refined with beast oil. Boom, boom, boom. The waves of arrows shot over, and when blocked, they all exploded. Quickly get away from this tree. Jian Rian's two swords danced wildly, releasing wave after wave of sword energy. It is as if countless swords have shot out to meet the rain of arrows. As for Qin Yun, he struck out with his tsunami technique, transforming the vibrating power into a shockwave that blocked the arrows from a distance. Long Qiaofeng and Yu Bufeng did not block the swords. This is also what Jian Rian told them not to do. They can't see the devils right now, so they can only retreat from this place first. After a while, the group of devils no longer shot arrows. Instead, one black shadow after another flew over. The devils have appeared, everyone be careful. Jian Rian shouted anxiously. Then, with the black and white swords in her hands, she charged towards the incoming black shadow. Qin Yun is not worried about Long Qiaofeng because she has a dragon totem and has also comprehended a totem martial art. Her strength has greatly increased. As for that Yu Bufeng, although Qin Yun does not understand him, seeing that he is very calm, he knows that he has a certain level of strength. The black shadows that pounced over are all tall and strong men. Their entire bodies are covered in long hair and their bodies are dirty. They look like barbarians. When they attacked, the evil aura on their bodies could no longer be hidden. Qin Yun charged at the devils, his palms are like blades. He condensed 9 extinction Dao power, turning his palms into sharp blades, and slashed at them. Hoo hoo hoo! Qin Yun, who has cultivated the common saber art for a long time, his saber technique is also close to perfection. His saber-like palms chopped down, saber energy shot out, and in an instant, those devils were cut into 8 pieces. Their bodies are poisonous, be careful of their blood. Qin Yun promptly shouted. Both of his palms are wrapped in streams of energy. Although he split open the bodies of the devils, he was not hit by the poisonous blood. Qin Yun and Jian Rian previously felt some disdain towards the devils here. And now, the strength of the devils here has caused them to have a whole new level of respect. They are a group and there are a lot of them. Quickly follow me and quickly evacuate. Jian Rian promptly sprinted. At the same time, she controlled her mental sword to fly and slash in front of her. Jian Rian's mental sword is also very powerful. As long as it flies in front, as long as it finds a devil, it will be able to immediately kill it and easily open up a path. 2 beauties, don't you run away. It's been a long time since we've seen such beautiful women, ha ha. Suddenly, a hoarse, thunderous laughter came out. A burst of laughter burst out from the surroundings. Chapter 648. Great Battle. Chapter 648. Great Battle. Following a burst of laughter from all around, the devils also appeared one after another. The ones who died before were just some small fries, and the group that appeared now are the strongest. They can restrain their aura and control their power very well. This is a very rare thing for devils. Qin Yun carefully observed the devils around him and thought, these devils are at the late-stage spirit martial realm. It will be difficult for us to deal with devils of this level. Ling Yuner said, there are also many mid-stage spirit martial realm cultivators. This is a very strong group of devils. Among the devils surrounding them, there are hundreds of them at the spirit martial realm. As for those small fries who are in charge of shooting arrows, there are more than 1,000 of them. That young man is also quite pretty, he should taste pretty good. A very short but muscular man laughed sinisterly and said, first serve then eat, ha ha. The other devils also roared with laughter. When Qin Yun heard those words, he felt a wave of disgust in his heart and immediately became infuriated. "You disgusting beast, die for me!" Qin Yun let out a deep roar. He used passing shadow extinction breath of 9 extinction steps and suddenly disappeared. His aura also disappeared. Seeing Qin Yun suddenly disappear, the group of devils can no longer laugh. They quickly searched for Qin Yun's whereabouts. Boom! Qin Yun suddenly appeared behind the short man. A fist condensed with 9 extinction primordial power fiercely smashed forward and pierced through the body of the large man. The devils who were laughing earlier, when they saw this terrifying power, all of them revealed looks of horror. Qin Yun killed a relatively strong devil. The great battle is about to begin. Jian Ruyan also promptly attacked. Her mental sword danced chaotically and hacked at the incoming devils. He held a black sword in his hand and unleashed a high-level sword technique to attack the group of devils. Long Xiaofeng's body surged with dragon energy. She shot out balls of energy that transformed into dragon heads and penetrated the thick bodies of the devil cultivators. The killing power is also very terrifying. Yu Bufeng, on the other hand, released waves of strong gales. The gales carried sharp air blades that hacked the group of devils and big trees into pieces. Qin Yun used flowing light extinction shadow and moved at an extremely fast speed. He passed through the group of berserk devil cultivators. He alternated between punches and palms, bombarding the heads of those devil cultivators. Every time he attacked, the 9 extinction primordial energy within his body would surge out with a roar, carrying with it a shockwave. The fleshly body of a demonic cultivator was very terrifying. Their skin was very stiff, like steel. However, Qin Yun's fists and palms contain vibrational power. They can send the 9 extinction primordial chaos force into the fiendish cultivator's head. His fists and palms were not wasteful at all. They struck the heads of those devil cultivators like lightning, causing them to explode. "I'll let you be arrogant." Qin Yun's eyes are red from killing. With every step he takes, he kills 3 or 4 fiendish cultivators. Even a devil cultivator at the middle stage of the spiritual martial realm would explode from the inside after being hit in the head by him. The most terrifying thing about Qin Yun's 9 extinction primordial power is that it can easily penetrate the skin and bones through vibration and directly attack the internal vital points. Of course, the one who was the most bloody was Yu Bufeng. He usually looks taciturn, but now that he is killing people, Qin Yun and the others have a whole new level of respect for him. It must be known that the bodies of the devil cultivators hit by Yu Bufeng were all cut into pieces. The group of devils are also shocked when they see this. "We must take them down," a 2-meter-tall burly man roared. Waves of black gas burst out from his body. This person seems to be the leader. There are also more than 100 devils who are not weak. They held weapons in their hands and charged towards Qin Yun and the others. The weapons in their hands are all made from beast bones. There are no runes carved on them, so they won't be sucked away. Those weapons are made from very strong beast bones and have a certain amount of power. After all, they are still relatively sturdy. When Qin Yun and the others saw this group of people rushing over, they are still able to remain calm. "A bunch of trash!" Qin Yun charged towards the leader. In an instant, he attacked with Extinction Dragon 3 palms. A vast power shook and roared out. The earth shook violently and black flames danced along with lightning. The surrounding earth collapsed one after another. The energy waves are violent and tyrannical, it is like a furious roar. "Don't be arrogant." The leader also hurriedly punched out to block. Qin Yun's palm struck the huge fist on the head. The vibrating 9 extinction primordial power ferociously roared out and charged in. "Ah!" the leader screamed. That thick and strong arm was also shattered. Then, he used his other arm to wildly attack. Qin Yun flashed behind the leader, put 2 fingers together and fiercely poked at the back of the leader's head. This was the piercing heaven fingers piercing mountain and splitting earth. A thunderous sound pierced everyone's eardrums. The leader's head was also pierced by Qin Yun's finger. Then, Qin Yun charged into the group of devils once again. His hands transformed into heavenly lion fighting dragon claws. 2 gigantic claws, the tips of the claws are like long sabers as they crazily swept across. The devils that were swept away were all chopped into pieces. Jian Rian now has to reevaluate Qin Yun's strength. She discovered that when Qin Yun fought with Jian Nanhu last time, he was still hiding his strength very deeply. Their 4-man team had actually managed to fight back against hundreds of elite demons. The group of small fries that shot arrows earlier were all harvested by Jian Rian's mental sword like chives. In just a few moments, this legion of demonic cultivators was completely annihilated. Jian Rian's body is also splashed with blood. She coldly snorted and said, "It's really strenuous. Does this guy think it's not good to live?" Long Xiaofeng also killed many devils. Her strength also caused Jian Ruyan to secretly exclaim in admiration. The cleanest one is still Yu Bufeng. Yu Bufeng, who has the most bloody method, did not have a single drop of blood on his body. "Let's go quickly." Jian Ruyan let out a long sigh. "I hope we don't encounter so many devils again. They are not afraid of death, but I'm afraid of getting tired of killing." Jian Ruyan walked in front. Just as she ran for a few thousand meters, she suddenly stopped. "What's wrong?" Long Xiaofeng asked. Jian Ruyan looked at Qin Yun and asked with a frown, "Qin Yun, do you feel that something is following us? Do you feel the same way?" "So it wasn't my misconception," Qin Yun said with a frown. He and Jian Ruyan's mental power is the strongest, so their perception is extremely sharp. "What exactly is it?" Long Xiaofeng looked around. "Let's leave the battlefield first," Qin Yun said. Jian Ruyan continued to run. They traveled through the forest and did not fly in the sky. Otherwise, they would be easily discovered by the things hiding on the ground. An hour later, Jian Ruyan also stopped and said, "Let's rest first." The area they arrived at has relatively large trees, and there are no weeds on the ground. It is a relatively easy path to walk. Jian Ruyan frowned and looked around. She muttered, "There's something following us." Qin Yun nodded and said, I also sensed it. It should be a very small thing. It's just that we didn't discover it." "Very small thing? Is it a bird or beast?" Long Xiaofeng asked. "If it's just a little bird, we can still discover it. That thing should be smaller than a little bird. It might be the size of a mosquito, and its speed is also very fast." Jian Ruyan looked around but could not find the target. She said again, "That thing has stopped. Because it's too small, its aura is also very weak. Especially when it's not moving, it hides in the cracks of the bark. It's very difficult for us to find it. If I'm not wrong, it's a very small xian bug. It's specially used to track people. It's also a very rare xian beast." Yu Bufeng suddenly said, "I heard from my elders that there are many herbs in the medicine Immortal Valley, so there are these spirit bugs in captivity. However, there aren't many of them." When Qin Yun heard this, he fiercely sucked in a breath of cold air and said, "Do you think that the medicine Immortal Valley, the Azure Flame Immortal Mountain, and those few great families are playing tricks here because they want to deal with me?" "Extremely likely. On this island, it would be very difficult for them to discover any small trick. Even if they were discovered, as long as there is no evidence to prove that they did it, they would not admit it." Yu Bufeng said, "How about this? I'll leave the team and not implicate you." Qin Yun also understood his own situation. "No way." Jian Ruyan coldly snorted and said, "What are you afraid of? On this island, other than the 16 Devil Beast Kings, the strongest ones are only at the late stage or peak spirit martial realm. Even if we can't beat them, can't we avoid them? It's better if I leave the team." Qin Yun is still determined to leave because if he acts alone, even if he encounters danger, he can easily escape. However, following a team is different. It's more troublesome. Just as Jian Rian wanted to say something, she suddenly sensed people coming from all directions. Is it another devil army? She cursed in a low voice. The people who came are not the devil army but a group of young people wearing gorgeous armor with cold and arrogant expressions. Medicine Immortal Valley, Azure Flame Immortal Mountain, Long Family, Tian Family, Yang Family. Jian Rian looked at the group of people and said with a sneer, "You are truly a nest of snakes and rats." Now, Qin Yun and company are certain that the Xian bugs following them were created by the Medicine Immortal Valley in order to find them and make a move on them. The disciples of these powers are all unfamiliar and Qin Yun has never heard of them before. What is certain is that not a single one of these disciples is weak. Although they are at the initial stage of the spirit martial realm, they are all very talented disciples of the major powers. Jian Rian, we don't want to provoke the Jian family. Therefore, we are only here to deal with Qin Yun. The person who spoke is a blue-haired man from the Medicine Immortal Valley. His eyes are also blue and he looks extremely demonic. Qin Yun also discovered that the blue-haired man's martial spirit aura is that of a divine ability martial spirit. This immediately made him secretly happy. If he could secretly kill this person, he would be able to obtain the divine ability martial spirit. Qin Yun and I are in the same team. I'm the captain. If you want to deal with him, you have to go through me. Chapter 649. Bloodwing Bat. When the group of disciples saw Jian Rian protecting Qin Yun like this, they are somewhat surprised. Because according to the information they received, the relationship between Qin Yun and Jian Rian is not harmonious. Jian Rian, do you think the four of you will be our match? A disciple of the Medicine Immortal Valley said with a sneer. You are all outstanding disciples and your strength is not weak either. Furthermore, you all come from famous sects and have distinguished statuses. Jian Rian sneered and said, However, if you really want to fight us to the death, a few of you will die, right? Are you sure that when you fight us to the death, you can guarantee that you won't die? Jian Rian's words caused the expressions of the group of disciples to change. Qin Yun's strength cannot be ignored. Everyone knows that Qin Yun can defeat Jian Nanhu with his bare hands. And the Jian Rian in front of them also has two very powerful swords. If they were to fight, Qin Yun and Jian Rian would indeed be able to kill a few of them. This group of disciples are also the type that are extremely afraid of death. When they heard Jian Rian's words, they are seriously considering the consequences. However, they did not really want to capture Qin Yun. However, Qin Yun is so powerful, it would be extremely difficult to capture him alive. Qin Yun felt that even if he scared off this group of people this time, they would still haunt him like ghosts. Moreover, he felt that this island is definitely not that simple. It must be known that anyone can enter this island. The disciples of the Medicine Immortal Valley seem to have entered very early. The martial arts tournament was also decided in advance. They will definitely set up an ambush here. Captain, I want to leave the team, Qin Yun said. No way. Jian Rian said sternly. My captain, you must listen to me. Don't be scared by these guys. Qin Yun has other reasons for leaving the team. After the group of young disciples considered for a moment, they also quickly took out their weapons. Their weapons are all forged using Xian tier materials or even better materials. It's just that they are not carved with runes. If the materials used to forge weapons are good, even if they are not carved with runes, it would still be of great help. Qin Yun secretly despised Granny Ma and company. They actually did not tell them in advance to let them prepare. Otherwise, Qin Yun would have been able to forge some weapons without runes in advance. You've decided to fight us, haven't you? Jian Rian tightly gripped her swords and said angrily, Are you really not afraid of death? Jian Rian, you definitely don't know how valuable Qin Yun's head is. A tall and sturdy youth's eyes are filled with greed. If we kill Qin Yun, we can obtain a king tool. If we capture Qin Yun alive, we will get a set of king tool armor and offensive king tool. After Jian Ruyan heard this, her expression slightly changed. She knew very well what this meant. You're really willing to part with it? Who offered this reward? Qin Yun asked coldly. It doesn't matter who it is. All you need to know is that there are many people who want to kill you now. Many martial emperors have joined in. Don't think that only you can place a bounty on others, others can't place a bounty on you. A young man sneered. Just don't regret it. I can also take out an even higher reward to place a bounty on you. Qin Yun felt threatened. He also wanted to know who was so generous. Jian Ruyan coldly snorted. If you want to fight, then hurry up and come over. I'm not afraid of you. Jian Ruyan, we will give you a little more time to consider. As long as Qin Yun leaves the team, we will not make things difficult for you. That tall and sturdy youth held a heavy sword in his hand. He poured a very strong Dao power into it, ready to fight at any time. It is said that the people in these teams have strength comparable to Jian Nanhu. If they were to fight, Qin Yun and company would definitely suffer casualties. Qin Yun transmitted his voice to Jian Ruyan. Ruyan, I'm only temporarily leaving the team. You can leave a secret mark along the way. I'll think of a way to meet up with you again. It's not a wise choice to fight them head-on right now. Of course, we can't let them have an easy time. We still have 20 days left in the Devil Martial Island. In these 20 days we can slowly play with them and kill them one by one so that they won't be able to participate in the final martial arts competition. When Jian Ruyan heard Qin Yun's voice transmission, she also felt that this strategy is not bad. He hurriedly replied, Qin Yun, do you think you can escape alone? Are you joking? I, Qin Yun, have caused so much trouble and I'm still able to live until now. It's not because of luck. In terms of escaping, you are definitely inferior to me. Qin Yun said with a smile. Then you should be careful. I will leave a pattern of 2 swords crossing on the trees along the way. If you pay attention, you will be able to discover it. Jian Ruyan also agreed to Qin Yun leaving the team. After Qin Yun obtained Jian Ruyan's agreement, he suddenly used 9 extinction steps and rushed towards a certain direction. Qin Yun, you bastard, don't run! A young man saw that Qin Yun suddenly disappeared. He immediately cursed and chased after him. Qin Yun constantly used passing shadow extinction breath and flew through the forest. His shadow could not be seen at all. That group of people immediately lost their direction and could not sense Qin Yun's aura. Jian Ruyan also looked around in astonishment. She thought that this kind of movement technique was only used temporarily. She never expected that it could be used continuously. Let's split up and chase after him. We'll definitely catch him. That group of people dispersed in an instant. Jian Ruyan also felt a lot more at ease. Long Xiaofeng, don't betray us or I'll make you die miserably. Jian Ruyan stared at Long Xiaofeng and said with a threatening tone. I won't betray you. Long Xiaofeng said. She still hasn't exposed her relationship with Qin Yun because she still has to infiltrate the Long family in the future. Humph, let's hope so. Long Xiaofeng coldly snorted and then left a secret mark on a tree. Now, there are only 3 of them. Yu Bufeng seems to be more reliable. Although he doesn't speak much, when he needs to put in effort, he is absolutely not vague. Qin Yun did not practice 9 extinction steps in the Sun and Moon spacetime realm for nothing. He used the second step of 9 extinction steps, passing shadow extinction breath, to easily get rid of that group of disciples. Yuner, did you see those disciples just now? How strong are they exactly? Qin Yun asked. Ling Yuner is his Dao spirit and can use the sealed power inside the Nether Sun Dao core, which also includes formidable mental power. Therefore, she had a clearer understanding of the situation than Qin Yun. There are a few very strong ones, their strength is definitely not weaker than Jian Nanhu. Ling Yuner said, "You guys did not confront them head-on, it is correct." Qin Yun, who is running wildly, cursed in low voice. "Those bastards, they actually used a king tool to place a bounty on me. This is clearly not letting me have an easy time." Ling Yuner giggled and said, "You also used good things to place a bounty on them and scare them. I can't continue to implicate Demon Moon Island." Qin Yun said, "Yuelon and the others are all on Demon Moon Island. If I place a bounty on those half-immortals and provoke them, they will definitely cause trouble for Demon Moon Island. Demon Moon Island and Divine Inscription Palace can issue bounties. Behind the Divine Inscription Palace, there are also those immortal sects that participate in the management. Therefore, the Divine Inscription Palace will definitely not help Qin Yun issue a bounty. Although Demon Moon Island will, it will cause Demon Moon Island to be viewed as an enemy by those two immortal sections. Those few great clans will also take Demon Moon Island to heart. Once the disciples of Demon Moon Island leave the island, they will face a threat." As Qin Yun thought about this matter, he flew away. He is very confident in his speed. Those disciples can't catch him at all. At night, the forest of Devil Marshall Island is very dark. The dense foliage blocked the beautiful light of the stars and moon. There were originally many glowing plants in the forest, but they were all destroyed by those devils. In the pitch-black forest, Qin Yun is like a fish in water. He is able to use shadow power. He can walk silently in the darkness and not be discovered by anyone. If we meet those disciples, they will definitely die. Qin Yun felt a wave of anger when he thought of how he was besieged today. This kind of thing will happen again in the future. When the Medicine Immortal Valley and the Azure Flame Immortal Mountain join forces, they can be considered a hegemon in the Proud Star State. Of course, they don't dare to provoke the Immortal Weapon City anymore. Because there is an immortal in the Immortal Weapon City. Although Bing Xing is very powerful, she can't leave the Immortal Weapon Palace. Therefore, Qin Yun must be extremely careful outside. Roar. As Qin Yun strolled in the darkness, he suddenly heard a beast roar. He felt happy in his heart and immediately rushed over. If he wanted to obtain a spot to participate in the martial arts competition, he would need to obtain a Devil Beast King crystal core. There is a beast roar in front of him. If it is a Devil Beast King, then after Qin Yun obtains the crystal core, he would not need to worry about the martial arts competition. An hour later, Qin Yun finally arrived at the place. He is somewhat disappointed. It is not a Devil Beast King. Instead, it is a group of devils who are besieging a madman. The man's voice is like a beast's roar. Qin Yun, who is hiding in the darkness, did not want to make a move. He only watched quietly from the side. The group of devils very carefully surrounded the madman. The madman held a bone club in his hand and roared loudly. He hit anyone he saw with great strength. He brandished the bone club and released a fierce devil energy that could break a huge tree trunk in an instant. Qin Yun is only watching the show. After all, he is already here. He also wants to see how the devils deal with the mad devils. These devil cultivators are really sad. He secretly shook his head when he saw this. Suddenly, an even stronger demonic aura surged over. Qin Yun is alarmed as he looked in a direction. He saw two red lights in the distance. It's a Devil Beast King? What type of beast is it? Qin Yun said in shock. He only saw that the Devil Beast King has a pair of red eyes. It's the Devil Beast King, Blood-Wing Bat. A devil cultivator cried out in alarm. Suddenly, the Demon Beast King flew over and grabbed the Berserk Big Man with its claws. A tube appeared on its tail and stabbed into the Berserk Big Man's throat. In just a few moments, the Berserk Big Man had been sucked dry. The madman's corpse fell down and broke into pieces with a few cracking sounds. The bones of devil cultivators are also very strong, but after being sucked dry by the Blood-Wing Bat, the bones have become so weak. Qin Yun immediately became spirited. Because the Devil Beast King is not easy to deal with. Chapter 650. Thrilling fight. The blood-wing bat flew over, causing the group of devil cultivators to be scared witless. More than a dozen frantically fleeing devil cultivators roared and shouted loudly. The blood-wing bat flew very fast in the night. If one closed their eyes, they would not be able to see it at all. Ah! Waves of miserable screams came from below. Those devil cultivators were sucked dry one by the blood-wing bat. Qin Yun's scalp went numb when he saw this. Originally, he was rather happy to meet the Devil Beast King. But now, he can't be happy because this kind of powerful Devil Beast King is not easy to deal with, especially when he doesn't have a weapon. They didn't discover me. Qin Yun secretly rejoiced. The bat's perception is the strongest, but it can't discover you. That's because your shadow power has increased by a lot. Ling Yuner giggled and said, "This bat is still very strong. Be careful when dealing with it and don't try to be brave." Qin Yun is rather regretful that he can't use weapons. Otherwise, with his equipment, he would definitely be able to easily take down this bat. If I have time, I'll have to use heavenly beast bones to refine some weapons. Qin Yun secretly followed the blood-wing bat. The blood-wing bat nimbly flew through the forest. Because its body is not big, it is about the same size as a human, so it is like a fish in water. Qin Yun followed for 4 hours. It is already late at night. He did not make a move because he is not very confident. In a situation where he doesn't have a weapon, if he wants to defeat a Xian martial realm Devil Beast King, the difficulty is extremely high. Furthermore, it is extremely likely that he will lose his life. Suddenly, the blood-wing bat's speed increased by a lot. Qin Yun is alarmed. He doesn't know what is going on and quickly increased his speed. Suddenly, a very familiar voice came from the front. The Devil Beast King has appeared. It's something that can fly and it's very small. The one who spoke is Jian Nanhu. There are 4 people in front. They are the disciples of the Sword Immortal Pavilion. Be careful. Jian Nanhu took out a golden longsword. Qin Yun looked at the sword and said in astonishment, "It is indeed the Origin Sword. This guy has really cultivated the Origin Sword." Jian Nanhu used his Origin Sword and unleashed sword shakes the heaven and earth, releasing golden sword energy. Like countless sharp swords that emitted golden light, they turned into a large net that enveloped the blood-winged bat. The other 3 disciples also have a sword in their hand. Although they are not Origin swords, they have a very strong sword martial spirit aura. The sword energy they released is also not weaker than Jian Nanhu's. The 4 disciples of the Sword Immortal Pavilion are all very strong. Even if they are not comparable to Jian Nanhu, they are not much weaker. Qin Yun watched the battle from the shadows. He could not help but admire the blood-wing bat's strength. It was actually that powerful. Even after being besieged by the 4 outstanding disciples of the Sword Immortal Pavilion, he is still able to fly around and let out sharp, ear-piercing sounds from time to time. The sound of the blood-wing bat was extremely uncomfortable. When Qin Yun heard it, he felt disgusted and even wanted to vomit. What the hell kind of attack is this? Qin Yun frowned and cursed in his heart. What surprised him was that a disciple from the Sword Immortal Pavilion actually vomited a mouthful of blood. Soundwave attack, and also a very strong mental attack. Ling Yuner said. Among the 4 disciples of the Sword Immortal Pavilion, only Jian Nanhu is fine. The other 3 disciples are vomiting blood while fighting. Jian Nanhu is constantly shouting and crazily attacking the blood-wing bat, making it difficult for the bat to let out that kind of sound. The defense of the blood-wing bat also caused Qin Yun to exclaim in admiration. Because the bat looks furry, but after being hit by wave after wave of sword energy, it did not suffer much damage. "Don't run!" Jian Nanhu suddenly shouted. The blood-wing bat actually flew high into the sky and disappeared without a trace in an instant. Qin Yun quickly chased after it. This Devil Marshal Island is still very big, but there are only 16 Devil Beast Kings, and there are still so many disciples fighting over them. It is rare for Qin Yun to encounter them, so he naturally cannot miss this opportunity. To Qin Yun, this is a very rare opportunity. Not long after Qin Yun chased, the blood-wing bat encountered another group of disciples. Qin Yun looked and realized that there are 6 disciples. Junior sisters of Fire Moon City, let's take down this bat together. Then, we will duel to decide who the Devil Beast King Crystal Core is. A youth from the Azure Flame Immortal Mountain said with a smile. Good. When the time comes, don't play any tricks. Otherwise, even if your father is in the half-immortal realm, you will still die. The female disciples of Fire Moon City are famous for their bad temper. Of the 6 disciples, 2 are from Fire Moon City and the other 4 are from the Azure Flame Immortal Mountain. Qin Yun is also watching from the side. The strength of the disciples of the Azure Flame Immortal Mountain and Fire Moon City is also very good. They were actually able to fight with the blood-wing bat and did not injure it. Especially the female disciples of Fire Moon City, the purple-gold flames they used made the bat extremely fearful. It did not dare to swoop down to suck their blood. The disciples of the Azure Flame Immortal Mountain, on the other hand, shot out balls of flame beams at the flying blood-wing bat. Qin Yun is also feeling apprehensive seeing this. He is rather worried that the blood-wing bat will be killed because it is his prey. The blood-wing bat was also hit a few times, its body is still burning with flames and then it slipped away. The escaping blood-wing bat is also very difficult to chase. The group of people from the Azure Flame Immortal Mountain shouted and quickly lost their target. Only Qin Yun can follow closely behind the blood-wing bat. Xiao Yun, when do you plan to make your move? Ling Yun'er said. The blood-wing bat is currently looking for prey. The blood of the Immortal Sect disciples is very powerful and it is also the favorite of this bat. It will find other disciples one after another. Qin Yun secretly admires the ability of the blood-wing bat, because it can find prey and powerful blood from a very far distance. I'll follow this guy for a while more. If it gets attacked again, it will consume a lot of energy. At that time, it will be much easier for me to make my move. Qin Yun also knows that the blood-wing bat is not easy to deal with. If he were to go up like this, he would most likely be injured. One must know that there are many hidden dangers in this Devil Marshal Island, especially the dangers that target him are the most. The blood-wing bat flew for a period of time and suddenly stopped. It hung upside down on a tree branch, seemingly resting. Oh no, this guy is resting. Don't let it recover, otherwise it will be difficult to deal with. Ling Yun'er said. Qin Yun hurriedly flew over as well. He gathered his strongest power and struck with his palm. Boom boom boom. His palm power fiercely pushed out and in an instant, it violently shook and exploded. Extinction Dragon 5 Palms. This is Qin Yun's most terrifying power. The black palm power swept up a gale that broke many tree branches and whizzed over. The blood-wing bat is still very calm as it hung upside down. Qin Yun's palm power smashed over and landed on the blood-wing bat's body, shattering the thick branch. What shocked him is that the blood-wing bat was hit by the palm power, but it is completely fine. It only flew away in fright. What's going on? Qin Yun quickly chased after it, his heart filled with disbelief. His palm power, vibration, flame and thunder and lightning, these 3 powers are very strong. Even if he used one of them alone, it would still have a very strong destructive power. However, when it hit the blood-wing bat's body, it did not cause any damage to it. I don't know. That blood-wing bat seems to have a special ability that can dissolve your power. Ling Yun'er said, this power is very similar to Nether Sun's power. If Qin Yun's cultivation is high enough, he can control the power released by Nether Sun to be strong enough. When other people's power attacks, He can release nether sun and vibration power to carry out an extremely strong defense and resist other people's attack. Of course, if the other party is very strong, it would be difficult for him to resist, especially when he uses weapons. Qin Yun chased after the blood-wing bat. He also condensed a very strong power, ready to attack at any time. Not long after he chased, the blood-wing bat suddenly flew back. Yun-er! Qin Yun quickly shouted. Ling Yun-er fiercely released a super-gravity. Boom! The blood-winged bat that flew over like lightning was fiercely smashed down by the super-gravity. It fell into the forest and even broke many thick branches. Qin Yun fiercely swooped down and used the first finger of piercing heavenly finger, piercing mountain and splitting earth. His finger poked the blood-wing bat's furry abdomen and penetrated the power, causing the blood-wing bat to let out a sharp hissing sound. This is an attack that Qin Yun concentrated with a very strong power. Just as he was about to attack a second time, for extremely strong flame power suddenly rushed over. Boom! Qin Yun was hit. Although he is wrapped in a flame, because he has heavenly lion Xian body, he is not afraid of this kind of flame. And the terrible thing is that in the flying fireball, there are many sharp fragments splashing around, piercing his skin and entering his body to wreak havoc. It's Azure Flame Immortal Mountain! Ling Yuner shouted. This group of damned bastards, they used a strange hidden weapon to penetrate your body. Qin Yun only felt that there are hundreds of small fragments in his body, constantly raging and struggling in his body, causing his body to suffer extreme pain. What the hell is that thing? Qin Yun is furious. These bastards, I want them to die. Not only him, the bat on the ground is also constantly churning. Haha! Qin Yun is going to be caught by me. A young man from Azure Flame Immortal Mountain laughed excitedly. This is worth 2 king tools. Qin Yun's body, it is as if many sharp insects have drilled into his body, causing his body to be in extreme pain and rolling on the ground in pain. After the square-faced young man from Azure Flame Immortal Mountain walked over, he laughed excitedly, took out a sharp thorn and vigorously stabbed Qin Yun's abdomen. Ah! Qin Yun roared angrily, his abdomen was also pierced. Fortunately, it is the Nether Sun Dao core. Even if the sharp thorn pierced through the Nether Sun Dao core, it would not shatter, it only pierced through. Quickly take out the rope and tie him up. The square-faced disciple is so excited that his hands are trembling. When Qin Yun was fighting with the blood-wing bat, he was so focused that he neglected to guard against it. He did not expect that Azure Flame Immortal Mountain would have such a strange hidden weapon. Qin Yun, you are finished, haha! The disciple took out a special rope and wanted to tie Qin Yun up. Just as Qin Yun was about to summon the heavenly lion, he suddenly sensed an aura attack. A person suddenly appeared beside the square-faced disciple, a cold light flashed, a sharp saber slashed out and beheaded the disciple. Chapter 651. Husband and wife join hands. When Qin Yun saw Xiao Yuelon arrive, he hurriedly used the Heavenly Lion summoning technique. The 2 Nether Realm Heavenly Lions also appeared not far away and roared out Heavenly Lion's heavenly roar from afar. Yuelon, don't let them live! Qin Yun shouted. The other 3 disciples of Azure Flame Immortal Mountain were also shocked by the scene in front of them. The 4 disciples selected by the Azure Flame Immortal Mountain are also very strong. But now, a mysterious woman had suddenly jumped out and killed him with a single slash. The weapon Xiao Yuelon uses is also the kind without any runes carved on it. But it was extremely sharp. Roar! Roar! Not long after the 2 heavenly lions appeared, 2 Nether Realm Berserk dragons appeared. They were summoned by Xiao Yuelon. Xiao Yuelon's beautiful face is filled with cold anger. She held a sharp saber in her hand and wore a set of simple and neat tight clothes. With a flash, she disappeared. When he appeared, The saber light flashed and countless sharp saber shadows slashed down. Qin Yun also crawled up from the ground. Ling Yun controlled the Nether Sun Dao core and released the special power inside the Nether Sun to force out the hidden weapons. After those things were forced out, they fell to the ground and wriggled. Xian steel worm! Ling Yun shouted in surprise. It was a very small insect, only the size of a grain of rice. Its body was like steel, and its head was very sharp. Qin Yun hurriedly used his mental power to control the bugs and place them into a box. He let out a long sigh and closed his eyes. Through the tree totem, he sensed the surrounding trees and absorbed a wave of energy into his body. Nether Realm Mad Dragon guarded in the sky, not letting the disciples of Azure Flame Immortal Mountain escape. Qin Yun summoned the Nether Realm Heavenly Lion to deal with the other two disciples of the Azure Flame Immortal Mountain. And now, the disciple fighting with Xiao Yueme is very strong. He is at the level of Jian Nanhu. Yuelon, I will help you. After Qin Yun rested for a while, he quickly used a tree totem martial skill. Tree Claw. It was a tree root that burst out from the ground and tightly bound the enemy. The young man fighting with Xiao Yuelon was originally suppressed by Xiao Yuelon, but now, his feet are firmly grabbed by the tree claws and he is unable to move at all. Don't kill. Ah! The young man was stabbed a few times by Xiao Yuelon and screamed in pain. Xiao Yuelon did not kill him, but she crippled him. After Xiao Yuelon defeated a disciple, she quickly flew towards another disciple of the Azure Flame Immortal Mountain. That disciple was being attacked by the Nether Realm Heavenly Lion. He was already having a hard time. As soon as Xiao Yuelon came over, she slashed down a few times, causing that disciple to bleed. The disciple of the Azure Flame Immortal Mountain was heavily slapped by the Nether Realm Heavenly Lion's claw and pressed to the ground. The berserk power of the Nether Realm Heavenly Lion unceasingly enters the disciple's body. There is only one disciple left. Just as Xiao Yuelon was about to go over, Qin Yun released a tree claw and grabbed the Azure Flame Immortal Mountain disciple. Then, the Heavenly Lion slashed down with its claws, causing that disciple's body to be filled with blood. The three disciples of the Azure Flame Immortal Mountain did not die, and they are all incomparably shocked, because they can tell that the two Nether Realm Heavenly Lions did not harm Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon. They were even more shocked. Qin Yun actually has two such terrifying Heavenly Lions. Xiao Yuelon also withdrew the two dragons in the air, slightly sighed and smiled at Qin Yun. Xiao Yun, I'm not late, right? Thank you for saving me, my wife. Qin Yun said with a grin, and then came to the side of the strongest disciple. Qin Yun, you cheated. That disciple is also trembling in fear. Although his body is full of injuries, he has forgotten about the pain and only felt incomparable fear. Because he knows that Qin Yun has killed many geniuses and various elders. He is a person who will not be lenient. Qin Yun took out a box and said with a smile, I'll also let you guys have a taste of the power of these little worms. When that disciple saw Qin Yun take out the Xian steel worm, he was so scared that his face distorted and his body trembled. Don't. I promise you anything, I can be your dog. The disciple cried and shouted. At this time, Xiao Yuelon also grabbed the other two disciples of the Azure Flame Immortal Mountain and placed them together. Qin Yun poured the Xian steel worm on them and tortured them. The disciples kept rolling on the ground and screaming in pain. Qin Yun was also in so much pain that he wished he was dead. Now, he also wanted to let these disciples taste this pain. The Xian steel worm was released by the disciples of the Azure Flame Immortal Mountain. They are very clear about the power of these worms and now they are in despair. They really did not expect that such a powerful woman would suddenly appear. Furthermore, Qin Yun can summon two very strong black lions. Of course, even if Xiao Yuelon did not appear, Qin Yun still had a way to save himself. Xiao Yun, you can kill them now, Xiao Yuelon said. Qin Yun nodded and struck a few times in a row. Black flames overflowed and burned the 3 disciples to ashes. Xiao Yuelon hacked open the blood wingbat's body with a few saber strikes. She took out a black crystal core and threw it to Qin Yun. Yuelon, this is for you. Qin Yun doesn't want the crystal core. I told you to take it, so take it. Why are you being so polite with me? Xiao Yuelon smiled playfully. You should also keep this corpse. The bones of the Devil Beast King are still very good. The strength of this Devil Beast King seems to be between Xian Martial Realm and Martial King. It's still quite difficult to deal with, Qin Yun said. He also spent a lot of effort to defeat it. The one you met is relatively weak. The one I met before is terrifying. I can't beat it, so I can only run away, Xiao Yuelon said. Qin Yun pulled Xiao Yuelon and said with a smile, let's leave this place and talk. Early in the morning, Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon left the place where the fierce battle took place. They are resting in the tree hole of a big tree. Especially Qin Yun, he suffered some injuries and needs to be treated in time. Qin Yun's heavenly lion Xian body has a strong recovery power. Coupled with the power of the tree totem, his injuries can be quickly stabilized. He sat in the tree hole and leaned against the wall. He looked at Xiao Yuelon opposite him. Xiao Yuelon's beautiful jade-like face has a shallow smile, and her beautiful eyes are filled with deep love. Seeing this, Qin Yun's heart felt warm. Yuelon, how are you doing on Demon Moon Island? Qin Yun said with a smile. Well, it's much better than in the Nether Moon Palace. I pulled a lot of sisters from the Nether Moon Palace to Demon Moon Island. Xiao Yuelon smiled. Won't those old grannies of the Nether Moon Palace hate you to death? Qin Yun asked with some worry. I'm not afraid. In the Nether Moon Palace, there are many old grannies colluding with the Medicine Immortal Valley. I took those young sisters away. They all hate the guys from the Medicine Immortal Valley. Xiao Yuelon walked to Qin Yun's side and sat down, leaning on his shoulder and hugging his arm. Yuelon, Demon Moon Island should have 2 spots, right? Did you come by yourself? Qin Yun asked. It's dangerous to come to Devil Martial Island, so I was the only one sent. Xiao Yuelon pinched Qin Yun's arm and said with a smile, Xiao Yun, your body is really strong. Is it Heavenly Lion Xian body? And Qin Yun kissed Xiao Yuelon's cheek and said with a smile, Yuelon, do you also have Xian body? No. Xiao Yuelon laughed. But my body is stronger than yours. Is it immortal body? Qin Yun asked again. Not really. Xiao Yuelon shook her head. Then why is it stronger than my Heavenly Lion Xian body? Qin Yun asked curiously. I won't tell you. Xiao Yuelon smiled playfully. Qin Yun pinched Xiao Yuelon's jade hand and scolded with a smile. Naughty, just like Uma. By the way, I saw Uma. She was the one who sent me the head of the Yang family's patriarch. This little girl, she didn't come to find me, her sister, but went to find you. I am jealous. Xiao Yuelon laughed. Yuelon, I missed you so much. Qin Yun touched Xiao Yuelon's jade face. Me too. Xiao Yuelon looked at Qin Yun affectionately. The two kissed for a while, and their longing for many days was also comforted at this time. Qin Yun's injury is healed and he has recovered to his best state. Yuelon, I want to ask you something. You have to answer me honestly, Qin Yun said. That depends on what it is. I have some little secrets that I don't want you to know. Xiao Yuelon leaned into Qin Yun's embrace and reached her hand into Qin Yun's clothes. She gently caressed his robust chest and felt Qin Yun's heartbeat. Uma and Sister Yang both have a past life, Qin Yun said. He also wants to confirm if Xiao Yuelon also has a past life. Xiao Yuelon's jade hand, which was originally gently caressing Qin Yun's chest muscles, suddenly stopped. She said faintly, I also have a past life. Your memories shouldn't have awakened, right? They haven't awakened yet, and they might not awaken in the future. I heard that in my previous life I was a bad guy, right? Qin Yun thought of this matter and felt somewhat unhappy. Of course not, how can you be a bad guy? You were a bad guy in your previous life, can you still reincarnate as a human in this life? Silly boy, don't think too much. Xiao Yuelon said with a gentle and sweet smile. Really? But I met an immortal called Bing Xing. She said that she was miserably deceived by me in my previous life. Qin Yun doesn't believe Xiao Yuelon's words and said, and Sister Yang. Bing Xing said that in my previous life, I deceived Sister Yang the most miserably. There might be some misunderstandings between you two. You were indeed an immortal king in your previous life. Later on, you died because you went to avenge Sister Yang. At that time, I went with you to avenge her. Xiao Yuelon tightly hugged Qin Yun, her face is filled with a sweet smile. At that time, I thought that I would be separated from you forever. I never thought that in this life, we would still be together and even become husband and wife. Qin Yun recalled that when he went to the Guanghan Palace, the old granny also said that he was killed because he went to avenge the young palace master and then reincarnated. Don't think too much about it, Xiao Yuelon said with a smile. This life is the most important to you. Qin Yun feels much more comfortable now. He has always been at a loss over this matter. Yuelon, why can all of you awaken your memories but I can't? Qin Yun curled his lips and said, Is my soul not strong enough? Chapter 652. Puppet warrior Qin Yun had already obtained a Devil Beast King crystal core. Next, he had to help Xiao Yuelon get another one. The two of them left the tree hole and went to look for other demon beast kings. In the sky above the demonic Martial Island, there are many flying treasures. The group of elders from the Azure Flame Immortal Mountain flew out from a black spaceship and arrived outside Granny Ma's large caravan, filled with killing intent. They floated in the air and looked down at the Devil Martial Island with solemn expressions. The elders of the other 4 immortal sects, 5 star sects, and 3 moon sects also came out of their flying Dharma treasures. After Granny Ma came out, she asked, What are you doing? Our 4 disciples are all dead. The elder of the Azure Flame Immortal Mountain roared. What does it have to do with me if they die? Granny Ma found it funny. It must have been done by Qin Yun. The elder said angrily. The veins on his forehead looked extremely sinister. Don't spout nonsense if you don't have any evidence. You are also clear about the situation of the Devil Martial Island. Not to mention the 16 Devil Beast Kings, there are many devils inside and their strength is not bad. Granny Ma said in a bad mood. We will definitely find the evidence. The expression of the Azure Flame Immortal Mountain's elder is incomparably ugly. Because of his anger, he released a very strong aura. The elders of the other sects were also secretly shocked. They all know that the disciples of Azure Flame Immortal Mountain are not weak at all. Not long after entering the Devil Martial Island, 4 disciples were killed. This caused people to suspect Qin Yun. Of course, no one knew what had happened inside. Granny Ma sneered. Even if Qin Yun did it, do you think Qin Yun would take the initiative to provoke them? You used a king artifact to place a bounty on Qin Yun. Which disciple in the Devil Martial Island doesn't want to kill Qin Yun and exchange him for a king tool? Granny Ma's words also made the elders of the other sects nervous. In Devil Martial Island, as long as they encountered Qin Yun, they would most likely attack him. Although weapons and magic treasures are restricted, Qin Yun is able to defeat Jian Nanhu, who is using a weapon without using a weapon. Just based on this point, one can see how strong Qin Yun is. Granny Ma saw the worried faces of the elders. Perhaps not many disciples will be able to participate in this year's martial arts tournament. If it was really done by Qin Yun, we will definitely let the elders of the Divine Inscription Palace make a decision. The elder of the Azure Flame Immortal Mountain said angrily. Enough. You suddenly used a king tool to put a bounty on Qin Yun. Isn't it to make the disciples who entered Devil Marshall Island attack Qin Yun? This is all caused by you. Moreover, there is no evidence to prove that Qin Yun killed your disciple. Granny Ma is furious. Just as they were arguing, a white-clothed old man suddenly flew over. It was Han Fenghu of the Divine Inscription Palace. Elder Han, you came at the right time. The 4 disciples that our azure flame immortal mountain sent in are all dead. This was done by Qin Yun. The elder of the azure flame immortal mountain quickly said. I remember that in the Devil Marshall Island, the disciples of the various sects and schools will kill each other, right? Han Fenghu said. This. The elder of azure flame immortal mountain was suddenly speechless. Since it's allowed, then no one can be blamed for this. When you decided to participate in the martial arts tournament, you should all know that many geniuses have died in this tournament over the years. Han Fenghu said with a smile. Of course, a dead disciple can't be considered a genius, that's a dead person. Since the heavens have decided to let him die, then what kind of genius is he? Granny Ma also chuckled and said, Geniuses don't look at martial spirit, don't look at spirit vein, don't look at aptitude at all. Instead, look at whether or not he is blessed by the heavens and whether or not he can live long enough. Living is victory. Han Fenghu also laughed. Back then, there were many talented geniuses who bullied me in every way they could. However, not many of them were able to live to this day. Those with higher talent are mostly arrogant and naturally like to cause trouble. In addition, the powers behind them connive and protect them, making them even more arrogant. Granny Ma shook her head. Han Fenghu said, You shouldn't have used a king tool to place a bounty on Qin Yun at this time. That will only cause the death of your disciples. Killing Qin Yun would allow them to obtain a king tool that is stronger than a Dao tool. The disciples in the Devil Marshall Island are unable to resist this kind of temptation. At this moment, a black-clothed old man flew over. That old man is also from the Divine Inscription Palace. When he arrived, the elders of the Azure Flame Immortal Mountain, Medicine Immortal Valley, and the Long family all revealed looks of joy. The Divine Inscription Palace is also divided into several factions because the Divine Inscription Palace was originally built by the various major powers. I came here to increase the difficulty of the disciples of the Devil Marshall Island. The black-clothed old man smiled sinisterly. What difficulty? Han Fenghu said coldly. Is this allowed by the higher-ups? Of course it's allowed. As the black-clothed old man spoke, he released 10 burly men from his storage magic tool. Seeing the 10 burly men, Granny Ma's face sank and said, These are spirit martial realm puppets? These are not ordinary spirit martial realm puppets. They are refined from living people. Their strength is comparable to a late-stage spirit martial realm cultivator. Their bodies are extremely sturdy, and even Xian tools would find it difficult to damage them. The black-clothed old man chuckled, and then let the 10 burly men enter the Devil Marshall Island. Following that, the black-clothed old man released 10 large circular mirrors. The scene that the 10 spirit martial realm puppets see can be projected onto the 10 mirrors. Granny Ma is secretly worried that these puppets will specifically target Qin Yun. Elder One, 4 of our Azure Flame Immortal Mountain's disciples are dead. I suspect that it was done by Qin Yun. Since Qin Yun has such formidable strength, then go and increase the difficulty for him. The elder of the Azure Flame Immortal Mountain said. There's such a thing? Elder One is slightly alarmed, a trace of anger appeared on his face. He said with a sneer, All right, I will definitely properly test Qin Yun. Granny Ma clenched her fists tightly, looked at Han Fenghu and asked in a low voice, Elder Han, how strong are these spirit martial realm puppets? Ordinary early-stage Xian martial realm cultivators, without any weapons or armor, will definitely die if they encounter these spirit martial realm puppets. Han Fenghu said with a frown. I hope Qin Yun can hold on. What about speed? Granny Ma looked at the 10 mirrors. After the spirit martial realm puppets entered the devil martial island, they dispersed and began running very quickly. Their speed is also very fast. This kind of spirit martial realm puppet is even more valuable than Dao tools. Han Fenghu said in a deep voice. In the Divine Inscription Palace, more than half of the elders want to capture Qin Yun and force Yang Shuriwei to appear. I heard that Yang Shuriwei is still in the remote Moon Mountain range. Granny Ma now knows that Qin Yun's greatest value is to make Yang Shuriwei hand over the Star Lord Inscription Spirit. As long as one obtains the Star Lord Inscription Spirit, they can easily carve star runes and even comprehend even more powerful star runes. In the proud star state, the most powerful and highest status of the small group of people are those very strong inscription masters. It's also the people from the Divine Inscription Palace who are using king tools to place a bounty on Qin Yun. They have no enmity with Qin Yun, but they are willing to use 2 king tools to capture Qin Yun alive. They are all aiming for the Star Lord Inscription Spirit. Han Fenghu sighed. No one can be sure if Yang Shuriwei is in the remote Moon Mountain range or not. In short, many experts have surrounded the remote Moon Mountain range. Even the half-immortals and martial emperors from other states have come to join in the fun. It is said that 80% of the half-immortals and martial emperors from the Devil Desolate and Spirit Desolate have gathered in the remote Moon Mountain range. After Granny Ma heard this, she exclaimed in surprise, This Yang Shuriwei is truly amazing. Those who have a good relationship with Qin Yun are indeed all extraordinary. Right now, everyone is worried that Yang Shuriwei will go to the Immortal Weapon City because there is an immortal inside. Once Yang Shuriwei goes to the Immortal Weapon City, they won't be able to do anything. Han Fenghu said. At this moment, a figure suddenly appeared in a mirror. A spirit martial realm puppet saw a person. It's a disciple of our Medicine Immortal Valley. An elder of the Medicine Immortal Valley said, Quickly ask him if he met Qin Yun. The spirit martial realm puppet also hurriedly spoke. When it spoke, it was not stiff at all. It was Elder Wen who controlled the spirit martial realm puppet to speak. I am Elder Wen of the Divine Inscription Palace. This is a spirit martial realm puppet specially used to test Qin Yun. Have you seen Qin Yun again? The disciples of the Medicine Immortal Valley also sensed that the spirit martial realm puppet is very strong and quickly said, Yes. Originally, the 4 of them were together, but they were surrounded by our teams and Qin Yun was forced to leave the team. This guy ran very fast and we lost our target in an instant. Granny Ma said with a sneer, Did you see that? We clearly told them to come to the Devil Martial Island to kill the Devil Beast King. What are they doing? They besieged Qin Yun from the very beginning. From the looks of it, even if they were killed by Qin Yun, they deserved it. You guys should know that Qin Yun is very vengeful. It's hard to say if the people who besieged him at the beginning will be able to come out alive. When the elders heard this, their expressions changed slightly. Elder Wen controlled the puppet and continued to frantically search for Qin Yun. Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon are searching the forest for traces of the Devil Beast King. Suddenly, the ring on Qin Yun's finger lit up and emitted a golden light. Xiao Yun, what's going on? Xiao Yuelon looked at Qin Yun's ring and quickly asked. Damn it, a Xian martial realm puppet is here. The silver light is a spirit martial realm puppet and the golden light is a Xian martial realm puppet. Qin Yun cursed softly. It's nearby. Doesn't the Devil Martial Island have a barrier? Puppets shouldn't be able to come in, right? Furthermore, it's at the Xian martial realm. Xiao Yuelon said with a frown. Yuelon, let's put on our masks. The puppet is here to find me. It's fine as long as it doesn't recognize me. Qin Yun said. The puppet shouldn't be able to distinguish me through aura. It can only see me through its eyes. That's just the person controlling the puppet looking at me. Xiao Yuelon and Qin Yun quickly took out a mask. Let's hurry up and leave. The Xian martial realm puppet is quite difficult to deal with, Qin Yun said. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.